distinguished guests, all protocol observed, good morning. My name is Dr. Kwat Achol Dedut. I am a medical doctor, and I am delivering this speech on behalf of South Sudanese Women Intellectual Forum. And also, I will wear two hats. I will be the presenter or the MC for the program today and tomorrow. أنا اسمي دكتورة كوات أتشول ديدوت وأنا هكون مقدم بتاعة البرنامج الليلة. أنا طبيبة مقيم في تكساس وهقدم لكم البرنامج الليلة. فبرحب بكم. I am based in Dallas, Texas. I am also the host of the talk show We Are the Change. And I came to Juba because my brother was getting married. And at the same time, I worked with a ministry called Street Children Ministry. I was dressing wounds at Konya Konya, High Sobra, and also Nyokoran Custom Market. We know that we have a big problem and our kids are in the street. We came together with my friend, Dr. Iqbal, and I told her, we don't have malls, we don't have places to see, but we can go to the street and dress the wounds of our children. And that's what we did for 1 week. Thank you. Mother Teresa said, not all of us can do great things, but we can do small things with love. We are here in this conference to increase civic engagement between the grassroots and the national civil society on gender and equality. يعني بعربي البسيط ده المشاركة المدنية بين الجمعيات الشعبية وقاعد المجتمع المدنية الوطن بشأن المساواة بين الجنسين. Okay, that is my little interpretation. It might not be perfect, but بعد جوبا ده ناس الفوق هنا ده وناس التحت بجاي يعودوا يلمون من سوا عشان كنا نشتغل سوا. المؤتمر ده هيكون ليومين، هيكون الليلة وهيكون بكرة. زي بتاعنا احنا بدينا بدري عشان احنا نتعارف، لكن ما لقينا فرصة عشان نتعارف. We were supposed to start at 8:58 to 9:15 so that you can get to know each other. But I know sometimes it's not that easy for people to come on time. That's why we gave you that little bit window. Right now, I'm going to introduce my co-host and facilitator, Miss Barbara, who is going to be helping out. And also, as we do the introduction, Ms. Veronica will also introduce herself. We'll start with all of you introducing yourselves. So I will start from left and we'll come this way. So we'll start with Ms. Barbara.
صباح الخير. إن نقول لي مزدك إن نقول مشاهد. صباح الخير. أيوة كده كويس. أنا اسمي بابرا أكيتا. I'm a public health specialist. لكن بموضوع بدأت هنا أنا جاي هنا سنة بشارك سوا عشان نبغى بلد. شكرا. صباح الخير. أنا اسمي تاي. أنا مايكل. أنا في program child protection. شكرا.
أنا بسالم ليتا كنكولو باسم يسوع ربنا بتاعنا. اسم تاي جاكسيليا سالاتير. أنا محامي لكن أنا ما بشتغل في محكمة ولا في وين but I love working with women. I am National Women Coordinator I coordinate activities for women, Mama Kanais in Kijuba.
Thank you. I'm Christina Day, the Executive Director of South Sudan Youth Peace and Development Organization. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Lois, and I'm a student studying procurement and logistics. Good morning to you all. I'm Kana Bridgehead, a student but doing internship in SCDF. I'm doing accounting and finance. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I'm Tracy Loba from Road Administrative Area. I'm working as a logistic assistant, and I'm also a volunteer with the UNDP Peace Building Program. So I'm a peace builder. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm called Professor Charles Rudolph, a fellow at Infinite Research and Development Fund. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm called Santa Aumo, Director of St. Monica Agency for Peace and Development. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Ismi Amar Makor. I'm from Magay. I visit the Hat Awana Wisconsin. Good morning. I'm calling Bron Kenyanu from Arabi State, advisor of governor.
صباح الخير، أنا اسمي سبيل السبي، ممثلة أولاد قلعة الغزال، وأنا إني كامرأة.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Elizabeth Job. I came from Northern Barkazal on behalf of women. I'm happy to meet with women and youth today. It's a pleasure.
Morning, everybody. I'm Susan Boliga, a student, and I'm studying economics. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Jane Robert, and I'm a student, so I'm studying public health.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Julie Justin Kamis. I'm a student studying business administration. Thank you.
Sabah al-Khair. I'm Victoria Samuel, volunteers.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Susan Peter, a volunteer.
Good morning. I'm Justina. I work for Young Women Christian Association. Thank you.
My name is Dr. Nelly. I'm Samuel Bono, a medical doctor, but a public health consultant, and community medicine. Just moved recently to Juba. I've been working in Egypt for with refugees, and I've been working among refugees and vulnerable groups in Egypt. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Gabriela Ade. I'm representing Rwanda.
Good morning, everyone. I prefer standing. Women need to be seen. So I expected everyone to stand up because this is your day and you need to be seen. Yes, thank you. My name is Akot Sarah. I'm a youth and a community advocate. I'm also the executive director of Women Voices of Hope for the Vulnerable. And I've volunteered several times for Women South Sudanese Women Intellectuals Forum. And I took the Youth Awards of 2021. Yes, the Youth Awards from the South Sudanese Women Intellectuals Forum. And I feel very glad again to be requested to be among these women from the grassroots and from the national. I welcome you all and thank you.
I like your energy. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm called Keji Viola
I'm a student and studying social work and social administration. And at the same time, I'm working with Women for Change, which is a women-led organization as the communication and advocacy officer. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Selma Abdulhamid Seyfarajuma. So I work with GAIPA as a community mobilizer.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am Makai Mayan Chengang, chairperson of Yorulwas Youth Association, Yorulwas County, Lexi State. Thank you very much.
Good morning. I am Jacob Balgatani, coming from Unity State. I work with the Youth Union as the advisor on legal affairs, and I also work with the people living with disability in Unity State. I'm also advising them on legal affairs and things to do with legal matters.
Good morning, everyone. I'm called Basmo, a fresh graduate, holding a bachelor's degree in human resource management and a volunteer here.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I heard the ladies were saying that they should be standing. So I'm wondering on behalf of the gentlemen in the house, should we be kneeling or sitting down? Honored to be here today. My name is Adam Kelly and I work as a program manager for Vision for Humanity South Sudan. Thank you.
Okay. I'm called David Kai Graciano. I'm the executive director of ETWORK Women Empowerment. ETWORK means Black Star Women Empowerment. As well, I'm the chairperson for Eastern Equatorial Women-led organization.
Thank you. Here is the pleasure. I'm called Sarah Agir. I'm a social worker. I work for Support Women in Governance Organization, Civic. Thank you.
Wow, good morning. My name is Zahra Said. People call me Mama Singer. I work for South Sudanese Network for Democracy and Elections, and I'm a professor of I'm a professor in homemaking. I'm a professor. I have professorship in homemaking.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Anita Mona. I work for the State Salam program as the Gender Equity and Social Inclusion Specialist. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Mary Hartfield, and I also work for State Salam as Senior Technical Advisor based here in Juba. Thank you.
Salam tanna kulu. Salamu alaikum. Ana mmesi kanisa fi Bugata Butayi. Why? Ikui ana kaman mmesi fi Mata kanisa aluo women league PA. Talata ana kaman udu fi Sedi and Women Peace Building PA River County. So ana gija mesi lunas pitaye zemaita kunainu indi nagabai kiti ana women representative pitaye River County.
Salam alaikum. Ana isimi Nairobi Garandu. Ana joining board. Ana the Women Association Mombasa. Tetapi jana ya masa tujis kulu. Wana kaman Abzeloni ka Sultan Hibor. Gariban Kone, and I did a big and a big room, and a chef, Festival Marina. I'm going to the woman, and the Garita Baby.
المجلس أنا اسمي جلسة نياكم أول في أمر ناي مستر أنا منسقة مرة عام في مجلس الكنائس وبندي معلمة وشغالة في جانب بناء السلام. Good morning, colleagues. My name is Cherry Flora. I'm representing GAIPA, South Sudan, is Women Organization.
Good morning. I'm Stephen Indias. I work with Africa Democracy and Civil Network as the Executive Director. And at the same time, I'm a political analyst and a youth advocate that mostly look at gender mainstreaming in terms of policy making dimension. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Joyce Samuel, and a registered midwife by profession, and also work as a nurse at mechanical work clinic. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Joseph Razande. I came from Western Equatoria State, Yambio. I am Executive Director for Wake Up Women Development Organization. I am also a member of a Women Intellectual. By their virtue, I managed to receive a gender award from a Women Intellectual. Thank you so much.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Hamida Mohammed Kamis. I work with Islamic Development and Relief Agency as a grade officer.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Diana Lino. I work with the Women Empowerment Initiative. I'm here on behalf of Dr. Ajakwal. We're here in ministry working with the NGD program. Sarah, nice to meet you. You always inspire me. I'm following you always on Facebook. Thank you so much.
Morning. My name is Susan Victor. I work with the Federation of Women Lawyers as acting executive director.
And we also have with us
Mr. Caesar Kambwa, who is here working for you on the connection of the IT. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Caesar. Without Mr. Caesar, we cannot have all the technology we need. And I think we have now finished the introduction. Did we forget anybody in the house? Yes, Ms. Veronica, and the two babies that we have.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Veronica Igale, and I have been managing this 3 months project that will, I think, end tomorrow. What else? I am the director for Women, Peace and Security with the SSWI. And I also wanted to clarify that all the students who have introduced themselves are our volunteers. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Veronica. I am very pleased to be the presenter of this program. When Madam Aisha asked me, I said, yes, this is a women's program, and I am a member of the South Sudanese Intellectual Group, and I decided, why not? Since I'm in Juba, I will do it. So Aisha, thank you for asking me to be the presenter. I am very pleased today at this conference on increasing civic engagement between the grassroots and the national civil society. If you could all turn off your phones, that'd be wonderful. between the grassroots and the national civil society leaders on gender and equality. A conference which has brought South Sudanese women and men from all the 10 states, as you heard during the introduction, 3 administrative areas, the civil society organization, both national and grassroots level. All of those who have joined virtually, meaning online, and from the diaspora. Aisha, as you all know, is in Canada. And we have some of our members in Kenya, Uganda, in the US, that's where I come from, Australia, and all over the globe, in Hungary as well, and Norway. I would like to first of all thank the United States Agency for International Development, known as USAID. We always use acronyms. There are some which I do not know, so I would apologize later on, and I might ask you to say the full name instead of using an acronym, for funding this conference. Through Sharjah Salam Project, thank you for believing in the women of South Sudan through the forum. Civic engagement is an antidote to inequality with rich potential to empower underrepresented and marginalized communities that have often been excluded, especially we, the women. Am I right? Women have been given only 25%. That means we have been sidelined. We have been underrepresented. If you look at this room, we have doctors, we have lawyers, we have social workers, and maybe the future president of South Sudan too, right? Civil society organizations play a vital role in upholding human dignity, preserving the social contract between citizens and the states, and in pursuing the ambition of 2030 agenda. The work of the civil society organizations within and on behalf of the community put people at the center of their mission. Is centered on respect of human rights. Without genuine participation of the civil society and communities in governance, development, accountability, the 2030 agenda and sustainable development goals will not be realized. Women and youth, as you can see in our crowd here today, we have students. And I'm so proud to say it's good to see our young participate with us. Women and youth must be able to participate meaningfully in decision-making processes in order to realize true equality. This requires recognition that the grassroots and the national civil society organizations are interconnected. They are interconnected and require inclusiveness for all of us to be together in one. Ladies and gentlemen, this conference is aimed at bringing the national, the grassroots, the civil society organizations together to interact. So we'll have dialogue today and deliberate on how to strengthen the corporations in order to advance gender equality and promote peaceful coexistence so that we can all live together as one in South Sudan, our motherland, right? All right. Ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to introduce to you briefly the South Sudanese Intellectual Forum, Some of you might not be members, but from today onwards, we are going to introduce the forum to you. What is South Sudanese Intellectual Women Forum? It's a network, people coming together, of South Sudanese women drawn from all ages, young and old like myself. Public life and sector, including health. We have Dr. Nanny here. We have educators. We have some teachers there. We have the people in the legal team, like Mr. Jacob and the young lady in the back who just came earlier. Yeah, there you are. And I think we have a lawyer here too. Justice, agriculture, securities, businesses, governances, civil societies, non-governmental organizations, the UN, faith-based organizations, among others. The South Sudanese Women Intellectual Forum was established in April 2020 and comprises of women in South Sudan, like yourself, women from the diaspora, like us, the ones who are outside, with the goal to galvanize women forward towards sustainable development. The South Sudanese Women Intellectual Forum has more than 500 members, 30,000 online subscribers, and also has reached over 400,000 people across the globe. Since the beginning, or since the formation of the South Sudanese Women Intellectual Network, they have conducted weekly, and I know a lot of you here have been interviewed. Madam Sarah is nodding, and some of you, yes ma'am, and some of the gentlemen too, it's not only women, have been interviewed on a weekly basis, which is totaling to 120 topics on issues of peace, governance, culture, education, sexual and gender-based violence, development, women health issues. I have talked about breast cancer, and some of the doctors have also talked about cervical cancer, and much more. The forum was initiated to provide a platform where we can come together as South Sudanese women to gain, to share knowledge. Knowledge is power, right? Yeah. Do you agree? Yes. So that we can mentor our young, like the young volunteers we have. Knowledge, you pass it on. Mentoring is like teaching from young age until they grow. The young ones will come and take our position. And that's why it's important that we mentor the young so that they can access information and connect. I can be in the US, but I can still connect with you. Thanks to Caesar, right? Can we give him a hand? Miss Aisha is in Canada, but she has been able to connect with us. Thank you, Madam Aisha. It's important so that we can help and participate in the reconstruction of South Sudan. The forum is committed on realizing a free, just, and equitable society where we are all equal. Nobody is superior. The forum drives change and participation through linking you and me, South Sudanese professional women, because we need that knowledge, and men, globally, through an online dialogue and participation. That's why we have the weekly program. The forum strives to solve some of the challenges facing South Sudanese women, not only in South Sudan, but also overseas. And when I say challenges that we face as women, Raising kids overseas is a problem. Living overseas is a problem. People think we have everything, but big countries, big problems. Developing countries, we all live as a village. So we all connect so that we can solve some of the problems. What is the objective of the organization? Is to promote social cohesiveness and mutual understanding, to unite. United, we stand. Divided, we fall. And I think that's one thing we need to work on. That's why we are all here, so that we can all work together with the nationals and also people in the grassroots. And also to participate in nation building, development, and women empowerment. If you educate a woman, if you empower a woman, what do? You raise a nation, a strong nation. And that's what we want for our country. We also strive to share technical expertise and build a database for all South Sudanese women. To share ideas, promote culture. I am a South Sudanese, and I am proud of my culture. And I'm sure you are. And because of that, tomorrow, we are all going to come in our cultural attire so that we can take it. Also, we are seeking opportunities because sharing information about jobs and conferences and scholarships. The South Sudanese Women Network, I will encourage you to subscribe, to join it, because you will see jobs are being posted there. Anytime there's a job anywhere, we always share it there. Why? Share. Sharing is always caring. If we care about my sister and I want to bring her up to be like me, then let us all do it together. We also share a database of research and publication done by South Sudanese women. We have a lot of papers written, but if you don't share it, it has no meaning, right? But if we share it, you get to know about it. Knowledge is power, as I had mentioned earlier. What is our mission? Our mission as South Sudanese Women Intellectual Forum is to strive to provide opportunity for women, to connect them, to support them, to facilitate meaningful approach to networking, and embrace new ways of enriching our connection and raising awareness for our members. What is our vision? We envision that to shape the future of South Sudanese women by providing opportunities for development. There are so many programs done by USAID, so many organizations. Please share that information. There are information on micro enterprise programs. Somebody mentioned AJAC earlier, and I believe she helps with entrepreneurship program. Let us bring up our women, the women who sell the vegetables in the markets. You can play a big role by teaching them how to manage their finances, how to market it, how to get customers. Word of mouth is one, social media is one, talking to people is one, encouraging them is one, providing funds is a way. We also would like to foster valuable connection and facilitate member success. When my sister succeeds, I am proud because she is my sister. I am my sister's keeper. If you succeed, I'm happy for you. If I see you fall down, I will lift you up. Why? Because that's what is the right thing. We have to care. We have to love each other. And by loving, we have to share information. What does the South Sudanese Intellectual Forum envision? South Sudan without war. I grew up during the war. I came back in 2013 to South Sudan with my kids, worked in the military hospital. I came in October, in December was the war, December 15, 2013. I had to go back again. We want a country without war, without poverty, with strong accountability systems and good governance. A country free of tribalism and division along ethnic lines. To me, my tribe is South Sudan. To you, your tribe is also South Sudan. You are my brother. You are my sister. My sister, I grew up here. I went to school in Mahat, Bolo. I went there a few days ago to take a picture. Went to Jubadeli. All the students I met in school were from different tribes, different ethnic groups. And that's why we have to embrace each other. We have to love each other. We have to work together as one. A country where there will be service delivery to every segment of the society with free and accessible education for all and accessible healthcare. Everything is so expensive. Schools are expensive. The healthcare system is expensive. But what we would like to see is accessible healthcare. A country where women are empowered, uplifted, and equal members of the society. We don't want the 25%, we want 50%. Right, Madam Sarah? We want 50%. A country where women will not be subjected to any form of discrimination, including gender-based violence. We aim to promote gender equality, empowerment of women and girls by removing the barriers that prevent full participation of women and girls in economic, political, and public life. Which means we have to stop early marriage. We also have to encourage our girls. A girl can do anything a boy can do. A girl can be educated and she can become the breadwinner. When a girl is educated, she can raise a family in a better way. Otherwise, life would be difficult for the husband to be the only breadwinner. South Sudan women intellectual values are to recognize, promote one another, pursue growth and learning, link members with agencies, hiring through our database of experts, and support, educate, and create awareness. Ladies and gentlemen, let me now conclude by stating the future of the forum. South Sudanese Intellectual Women Forum that promotes unity, social cohesiveness. Our tribe is women of South Sudan. Our tribe is men of South Sudan. Our tribe, children of South Sudan. South Sudan warrior? South Sudan warrior? Women warrior? Thank you. By uniting, we are able to achieve more. Our members are present in diaspora. They are present in the 10 states, in 3 administrative areas, and some of them are having grassroots organization. I like what my sister from Yale River said earlier. She wears so many hats, and that is what we want. Different small organizations that would help to uplift each other, where the importance of discussion are giving them more knowledge. When we sit the way we are today, you will go out as a different person. You will not go out the way you came. You will speak to somebody who is a lawyer. You will speak to somebody who is a doctor. You will speak to somebody who is an accountant. You will go and tell your daughters, please come and volunteer for the South Sudanese Women Intellectual Group. Our members are also ready to support women with capacity building and capacity enhancement, which includes proposal writing for funding opportunities. And my sisters here, they have been funding us, and we thank them for what you do. Once again, I would like to thank USAID and also our members who are online and you for coming. If you did not come, we would not have this conference. If you did not have a heart to build each other, to have unity, to empower the women, then we wouldn't be here today. We, the women of South Sudan, stand for sustainability of peace and development. A developed nation does not start by itself, but it starts with me and you. And that's why during my 7 days here, I went and did something small, like cleaning wounds of the street children. You can start something with the woman in your neighborhood, with the girls in your neighborhood, with the girls in another state. Other states are better than others. So we need to stand together. Mother Teresa said, not all of us can do great things, but we can do little things. Your little thing, all our little things we do. When we bring it together, it becomes a big thing. And yet الواحد ما بيصير. لكن لما احنا كلنا نيجي مع بعض احنا بنكون اقوياء. احنا ممكن نغير. التغيير بيجي كيف؟ بيجي مني وبيجي منك. There are some people at the door. Can you please welcome them in? With this, I would like to say, Women Warrior, South Sudanese Intellectual Women Group Warrior, South Sudan Warrior, South Sudan Men Warrior, I did not forget you. May God bless you all. May God bless our beloved country, South Sudan. May God bless our nation. May God bless all of you for being here. Together, we can. We are the change. The change is in me, the change is in you. If you have a heart, you can do something. Change comes when we come collectively. We can do great things. It is all here, and it's here. What is God? God is love. If I love my sister from Equatoria, if I love my sister from Woodland, if I love my sister from Cholo, from Bahazal, from Balanga, from Madi, from Acholi, there is one famous song that is usually sang in church that says, Dinka, Murle, Umadi, and Nkulu, Welu, Juba Sawa, right? And that is, in South Sudan, we have 64 tribes. And the 64 tribes are our diversity. And it's what makes us strong. You are different from me. I speak a different language. I am a Dinka. I'm married to a Shuluk. That makes me stronger. Now, will I go and kill, will my brother go and kill a Shuluk child? No. Intermarriages strengthens us. Love binds us together. Let us all promise today, when we leave here, we are going to show love. We are going to show unity. We are going to show peace. Peace, warrior. Peace, warrior. God bless you. And with this, I will give a chance to our speakers in a little bit. Thank you, and God bless you. Now, I would like to call our visitors, our sponsors, our donors, the United States Agency for International Development. I will start with Ayitu. Muna, please, you're welcome. Can we please give a hand?
Okay, thank you so much for giving me the chance. Well, I'm not going to take a lot of time. And maybe a little correction. We are not the donors. The donors are the USAID. And we are Usaid-Sswi, the program being funded by USAID, and we are the implementers. Thank you so much.
Thank you for that correction.
You're welcome. So as I said earlier on, I'm the gender equity and social inclusion specialist. And I came with my supervisor, our senior technical advisor. I'm going to invite her to say something little about the Usaid-Sswi program before we move on with the rest of the things. Thank you, Musa.
Hello once again. In regards to what Dr. Porter eloquently spoken, in encouraging you as some of the partners that they have been working with in the regional three areas. Usaid-Sswi is a program that is funded by the United States Agency for International Development, and they contracted GT Global, which is an American-based USAID contractor in America. And the program was designed in a way to come and stabilize South Sudan. As you all know, the United States government owes South Sudan to its heart, simply because they really work hard with the striker countries. And those striker countries are Norway, Britain, America, and I think France and Italy. Now, I just wanted to kind of provide you a quick overview of what Usaid-Sswi, supported by the funding from USA, which is actually money from the American people. It's a support from the American people to support the initiative that USAID has put together to help in the stabilization of the peace agreement. Usaid-Sswi as an activity or as a program that is being supported by USA is to work in those areas that were severely affected by the war that happened in 2013 into 2015, and then the peace agreement occurred. And Usaid-Sswi as an activity has got four objectives. Objective number one is to kind of promote peace. And objective number two is to kind of, support civil society organizations like the South Sudan Women Elections. And the fourth objective, as you all know, a country that is going through the trauma of war is to kind of focus on trauma activities and supporting civil society organizations that are more or less encouraging community support that would focus on trauma issues so that the country can heal. And the last one, as you all know, some of the issues that occurred in South Sudan has sort of been created by misinformation that the communities are receiving information that are not accurate, and therefore it stirs up more hate, more conflict, and we wanted to support that effort by actually promoting media that is passing more information, especially the social media aspect of things. Now, City Salam also has got a few focus, and that's where I think we wanted to work with the women, South Sudan women intellectuals, to focus more on participation of communities, particularly women and youth at the grassroots level. The importance of this is to kind of increase women, to empower women and to promote the theme of what we all are doing on gender equality. With that, women participation is every aspect of the political, whether it be political, economic, or social, a country will not be a country. And therefore, engagement of every member in the community matters. And we wanted to ensure that some of the civil society organizations at the grassroots have got linkage between the national level civil society and the grassroots. And women and youth are more important. I'm so impressed with South Sudan Women Intellectual in promoting diversity. What I'm looking right now in this conference room is the diversity of South Sudan. And the way you all have come together and the theme that you all have brought together is what really would make this country more stable and for this peace agreement to become a reality. As Dr. Akkad mentioned, greater things we as women or youth cannot achieve, but if we can collectively or individually can do little things, similar to what she has pointed out of her addressing some of the wounds of the street children with love and care. I think she also talked about sharing is caring. And therefore, if we can share some of our expertise, whether being the what you come from your heart to kind of help your next door neighbor, to share some of your trauma with her, she might have a solution. Or you could have a solution for that hurting sister or that hurting youth. And I'm impressed with the women of today that are trying to advocate for at least inclusion and equality. Diversity and social inclusion means every member of the community has to contribute. It doesn't matter how little you contribute, but you have to participate. Now, one of the things that, City Salam wants to appreciate all of these South Sudan women intellectuals is the effort and the energy that you are putting in to link with the grassroots. And that means a lot. And on behalf of the leadership of City Salam, I wanted to kind of, say that you all are on the right track. And also on behalf of USAID as the donor, and also from the American people, this is what diversity and social inclusion look like. Without your voices, a country will not stand strong. Without your advocacy skills, a country will not stand strong. Without you asking for your rights as human beings, a country will not stand strong. And therefore, you do it constructively without criticizing anyone. And so you can achieve just little things that you can ask for with greater love, you can succeed and you can actually achieve bigger things that you can help your community. We all know that several generations of children have gone without education. And one of the things that people are trying to advocate, and I'm so impressed that the youth today, the student today, you are going to be the leaders for tomorrow in this country. So keep pushing yourself. It doesn't matter whether you can succeed or you cannot succeed, but that is the most important aspect of what you can do. Therefore, having mentioned what we do and how we have become as an organization implementing what Usaid has asked us to do. I wanted to thank you, and I wanted for you to continue with what you have set forth on your discussion today, and I hope you will have a fruitful outcome. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Can you hear me? We're having some technical problems. They're just trying to fix it. So, can you hear me? Yes. I'll try to come to the middle, and maybe that will help, but that will remove me from. Can I use the mic?
Thank you very much, Mary Hatfield, for your words of encouragement. And Sefti Salam, now I got it right. I just came last week, so it's taking me some time to learn all the organizations that I hear. There's one thing that she said. Which is very, okay. People online might have some difficulties, but I'll try.
Can I correct something on Usaid-Sswi? I forgot to mention. Usaid-Sswi means, it is a word in Arabic. Initially, the program was called PSEP, which the acronyms are Promoting Community Engagement and Peace. And it was quite difficult. So we came together with USA to change the name and to make it short. So Usaid-Sswi means promoting peace. So that's what Said, I don't know if I can pronounce it correctly, it's called Sejja Salam.
Sejja. Kalimat at-Tashjir. So now we got it right. Thank you. Sejja Salam, which means encourage peace. Thank you very much, Ms. Hatfield. There's something important that she stated, the negativity that we have against the NGOs, I worked for IRC for 7 years. I went to the US as a refugee, and I worked with them for 7 years, and I was awarded the Distinguished Humanitarian Award of Service for the work I did with the refugees from North Africa and Middle East. Now, there are a lot of things. Those of you who work in organizations, you have better understanding than the layman outside. There are strategies, there are projects that need to be followed. Last time, when COVID hit, the first person who had COVID, I remember there was so much hatred for foreigners because people started saying COVID came through a foreigner. I had COVID. Now, will the Americans say, you will be at a job at COVID? No, it's a disease like any. But because of the negativity that we have against people who are foreigners or who work with NGOs, let us be clear. If you know the knowledge about how an NGO works, please educate the people. Last year, or 2 years ago, in April, when I did the first live video for COVID, I did it because I wanted to educate people. When I heard about the negativity against foreigners here, where people were thinking that even the people who were cleaning wounds in the streets were stopped at one point. And I remember I decided to do a live video to let our people know how COVID is transmitted, that all the countries have had it. Because if I get into a plane, I will be leaving in few days. I will go to Dubai. If I have COVID, I've taken it to Dubai. If I go to India, the way I'm going to India, I will also take it to India. And that is how it started. It started in Wuhan, China, and then it spread. It's an airborne disease. So it has nothing to do with somebody who's a foreigner. And the same thing, please get an understanding how the NGOs work. I lived as a foreigner in Egypt. I lived in India. I lived in Kenya. And now I've lived for 22 years in the US. It's not easy to live as a foreigner. Let us respect them. They are people. They are here for a reason. The organizations are here to help us. They are not here to be against us. So have knowledge, share it, respect the people who are here. Okay? So thank you for pointing that out. We will continue to preach peace and unity and cohesiveness with the NGOs, because a lot of things come through organizations. At this point, I'm going to call Mr. Maulana Jacob Luan, Believe, if I'm pronouncing it right, to come and do his presentation from the Greater Upper Nile. Ms. Aisha, are you ready for us with the PowerPoint? Thank you. Welcome, sir. You can take your mask.
Thank you so much. Good morning once again. During introduction, I forgot to say that I was trained by South Sudan Women Intellectual as a male champion in Unity State. Yeah, it's good to know. My presentation is going to be short. It's all about the status of civil society organizations in the state where I am, or in Greater Upper Nile that I am representing. Civil society organization play multiple roles in Unity States. I put it as Unity State, but I was representing the Greater Upper Nile. In Greater Upper Nile, they are an important source of information for both citizens and the government. So civil society organization, they are helping our community to get information about how government operated. They are the voice of the community, and they are also trying to educate the community on the works of the private sectors, like organizations and so forth, those activities. So civil society organization, they monitor the government policies and actions and hold government accountable sometimes when necessary. We learned from here in Juba, one of the active civil society organizations, SECO, you know what they are doing, they are radical. So when they see government is going wrong, they are pointing out exactly, this is wrong. This is not, it's supposed not to be like this. So in Unity State, some of the civil organizations are radical. That's why if you could see in social media, if something happened in the field, you will see them, you know, they write in Facebook, they do what they educate the community on the activities that are going on in the ground. They engage in advocacy and offer alternative policies for government at some point, the private sectors and other institutions. Civil society organizations are monitoring the gross violations of human rights and equal representation at all levels of government in Unity State and also in Greater Upper Nile. So, you know, civil society organizations, they have better roles in area of human rights. You know, sometimes they expose government, you know, where there is gross violation of human rights, then they correct government on such issues. What are the role of civil society organization? They are more of a democratic governance, which is one of the key instrument role to them, to the civil organization, like youth union where I work in Unity State. At some point, we correct our government, we challenge the government, things to do with women representative in the government, and also use affirmative action 50%. The term governance has multiple dimensions and it used in plethora of contexts as associated with both private and the government institution. Governance related to the manner of operating and organization. So these are one of the roles that civil society organizations are undertaking. Shall we go ahead? Civil society organization, they help in development of democratic system. Though the civil society organization have played substantial roles in the provision of service deliveries and welfare activities, they have faced hostile attitude both from the militaries and the civil regime. So sometimes it's not easy to challenge government, or sometimes sometimes they are being arrested, they are being tortured and all this, but because they know that they are the voice of the community and they are the eyes of the community, they cannot get shy or maybe hide away from the government. So they will speak the truth, that this is exactly what that's supposed to be done. Civil rights organizations, they're also helping in mobilizing public involvement in decision making. Mobilizing citizens to participate in decision-making process in a virtual element of democratic government. Some of the civil society organizations, they engage the government or they engage the community in all levels, so that community are being involved in any decision-making on the ground, on the grassroots. Also, they have access to the information and knowledge of. My Arabic is very full, complex. Arabic and Arabic.
أنا بحاول أترجم بعربي جوا، لو قدرت ما قدرت أنتوا ممكن تصلحوا لي. Even proceed, I'll summarize.
Civil society organization, they are the way in which community get information or citizens get information, or the stakeholder, they get right information through civil society organization.
المعلومات المنظمة بتحاول تساعد إنه معلومات دي ترجع لمواطنين. Caesar? Maybe I'll go and stand in the back. طيب المشاركة المدنية بتساعد عشان يودي معلومات
It's okay. I think I can proceed, and then later on you will summarize in Arabic.
That would be great. Thank you.
Let's proceed to the next. Civil society organizations, they are also influencing decision making for a democratic system of governance. So, civil society organization, the influence of civil society organization and development of democratic system of governance and the impact of civil society organization upon the decision-making process of local government and cannot be denied. So we look into this, that civil society organization, they can influence in decision-making. So where necessary, they can approach, the government or the stakeholder or organization that it's supposed to be this, but they don't say it's must. They will ask you that it should be like this. So this is what it meant. Those are the key responsibilities we thought of civil society organization. Let's look at the achievement. I only put some key form. We said one of the achievements is the advocacy and lobbying for democracy. This is one of the achievements we saw and we had. And sensitizations about the revitalized peace agreement. So we say that this is one of the most important roles of the civil organization in where I am. Advocate for policy change and practices. So civil society organization, they are helping a lot in the community, especially in cultural practices sometimes where they harm people, like initiations, things to do with female mutilations and all this kind. So civil society organizations, they are educating our community on how we should change the policies and the outdated culture that we have, that we think that they are harming our people. So they engage civil society. We say that the engagement of political leaders by faithful groups. In Unity State, where I come from, faithful groups, they play a great vital roles on engagement. They bring, political parties together, then they pray for them. Sometimes they advise them, even though they don't put them into action. But civil society organizations did their part in bringing them together. Monitoring of affirmative actions of women in revitalized government in the states. So civil society organizations, seeing they are the eyes of the community and the voice of the community, they pursue the government to make sure that the affirmative action allocated for women is monitored and is well represented. Let's go ahead. We said we have some key challenges. Insecurity is one of the challenges that civil society organizations are facing. Like, in Greater Panay, maybe you can hear through radio or maybe in social media on activities that are going on. There is ongoing conflict that has no end, but sometimes it's a challenge to civil society organization. They don't have, the movement, freedom of movements and all this. When there is insecurity, they don't move. So they will not even know what is happening on the ground. Most of the civil organizations also, they lack funding. They don't have resources to do their activities. Some of them are of voluntary basis. So some of them also lack knowledge. They don't have knowledge that they need to be capacitated so that they will know their mandate and what they should do. Inaccessibility to the information sometimes, because of the current context, sometimes they are being confined. So they don't move to, across the state sometimes. They are limited to the town. They don't have access to the remote area of the current context. Let's move to the next. We have case recommendation that say that they need to be trained, civil society organizations need to be trained, and they need to be strengthened the relationship between civil society organization and the other stakeholder. Civil society organizations need to have access to funding opportunities. If they are being supported, they will be able to do their activities on the ground. This is the end of it. I think you can summarize it in Arabic. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for your presentation. أنا بتأسف شديد معلش للناس اللي ما بيعرفوا إنجليزي، لكن أنا بحاول أختصره. الدور بتاعهم إنه يحاولوا يودوا معلومات للناس، رغم إنه هم بيحاولوا، رغم إنه هم قاعدين يحاولوا يقدموا معلومات ويوروا الناس، برضه المعلومة ما بتصل الناس لأنه الحالة الأمنية ما بيساعد. عشان كده بعض مرات الناس بيكونوا قاعدين في نفس المحل نفس المنطقة وما بيقدر يعرفوا الحاصل مثلا في كونيكويا شنو، ولا الحاصل في مونيكي مثلا شنو في حتات بتاعت جريتر أب نايل. الحاجة الثانية اللي قاعد يواجههم إنه ما في دعم. عشان كده إحنا عملنا المؤتمر ده عشان إحنا نقدر نقعد ونعرف كيف الناس يقدموا الدعم والناس يساعدوا بعض كيف، والدعم بتلاقي كيف، وأنت بتكتب كيف عشان تقدر تلقى الدعم. من ضمن الحاجات اللي هو قالوا هم بيحاولوا ينصحوا الحكومة، لكن هو بيقول بعض مرات بين نصيحة اللي هم بدهم الحكومة ما بيشتغل بيه، بعض مرات بيسمعوا وما بيشتغلوا بيه. هم برضو عيون بتاعت الناس، وحتى هم الصوت بتاعت الناس اللي في المجتمع، الناس اللي بيعمل لهم الاضطهاد، الناس اللي بيعملوهم بطريقة بطال هم بيقيفوا معاهم. هم بيحاولوا يقدموا، بيسألوا إنه مثلا لو في طريقة للتدريب للناس اللي هم شغالين معه بيكون كويس عشان يقوي الرابطة بتاعهم. فده باختصار شديد. والمقدم الثاني حيكون شكرا مولانا for your presentation. It's great that you have pointed out what your role is in the community, what you do. Even though sometimes people do not listen, but they will hear. They will not put it into action, but they know what has been said. So keep on doing your work. It will change one day. Thank you. Can you please give him a round of applause? Thank you, sir. Our next speaker is a mother, and I admire her because she came with her child. I love that. It did not stop her. If you want knowledge, you go to where it is. And my sister, thank you for taking care of her son while she comes to do her presentation. What is that? That is sharing, that is caring, that is supporting each other. Miss Elizabeth Ajuk, you're welcome to come and do your presentation. She is the representative from Greater Bahram Bazaar. Am I right? You're welcome. And I'm told you have only 10 minutes. I know you'll make it short. Since you can multitask by being here today, thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I want to apologize. I prepared the presentation based on one state, but I will make it suitable for all the 4 states of the Greater Barakazal as I present. Thank you. Northern Barakazal is a state that is known for peace and stability among all the 10 states and the 3 administrative areas.
This state has overcome the early wave of conflict that erupted in 2013 and 2016 in the Republic of South Sudan that spread to the almost 90% of the South Sudan territories and affect almost every family. Although the state has been reserved from the direct effect of conflict, it is silently suffering from the effect of political unrest indirectly. In addition to the communal conflict in the neighboring states, that is Warab, Gogrial, and Wow, they are not stable. And as sisters, we are also not stable because of our neighbors. And also, we have issues on seasonal conflict by Arab nomads from the neighboring Sudan, along the Sudan or North Part corridors of the Republic of South Sudan, which are often regulated through seasonal migration peace conference. Nevertheless, to mention that although no war was fought directly in northern Barkazal, the negative impact of those wars of 2013 and 2015, 2016 has still been felt here and there in northern Barkazal, including even the hardship of economy that has made everybody. Next. The roles of CSOs in the Greater Barakazal. Number of CSOs have influenced the decision making at the state through political parties to the revitalized agreement, and also individual influence within the community, and women and political youth and women leagues to appoint women at key political positions in the Greater Barakazal. CSO also advocate for the participation of women in political reform and youth by 20% and women by 35%. CSO also disseminate a peace agreement within the women group and other community members through meetings and other activities like SACs and other youth gatherings at all states. CSOs advocate through community meetings and radio talk show for the fulfillment of 35% affirmative at all levels and also 20% of youth representation in decision making. CSO also conduct civic education on human rights, especially on women's and girl child right to education to break the traditional norms that make women and girls more vulnerable even to the extent of not owning properties within the societies. Next. Next slide. Our challenges, we have inadequate qualified women to occupy some technical position, e.g. like Director General and other department director, because most of qualified ran out to look for a better job in UN and other international NGOs. So it makes it difficult for the government to fulfill the 35% at some level of the government. Another challenge is lack of funding to conduct civic education on gender equality and conflict management capacity building to the communities. High illiteracy rate among rural women that contribute for the poor promotion of women both in civil servants and organized forces structures at all levels. Limited women access to political position due to lack of support from the immediate family members. Inadequate capacity building to rural women leaders. Lack of cooperation and moral support among the women groups. Next. Recommendation continues to advocate and lobby with the state authorities for the fulfillment of 35% affirmative action at all levels
of government institutions and 20% for the youth representation. Empowerment of rural women through skills development, employment and access to social fund government loans to break the traditional blocks and mitigate gender inequality within the communities. Strengthen the cooperation between the national and rural women structures to achieve women common goals. Funding of women-led structures to disseminate and educate rural women on importance of their participation toward roadmap of revitalized agreement during this 24 months to achieve 35 plus in decision making. And we are proud as the Baragazal region, at least we have a female governor. We have 2 speakers from Lake and Northern Baragazal and deputy speakers and deputy governor from Warab. Lastly, we educate and coach women on importance and benefit of them to participate and registered under the political parties because it is a government of political parties. Therefore, it's also good if we can register and be active in order for us to secure some positions. Next. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Madam Elizabeth Ajuk from the Northern Barghazal state. You have mentioned that you advocate for peace. أنا هحاول العربي ولو ممكن أي زول مثلا البيجي بيتكلم يحاول يلخبط الاثنين عربي وإنجليزي لو ممكن وما بتقدر بعد ذاك أنا بساعد. هي قالت هم بدهم هم الولاية بتاعهم معروف بالأمان، لكن الحرب بتاع 2013 وحرب بتاع 2016 اتأثر بطريقة أمنية في كل الأماكن بتاع جنوب السودان. هم برضو بيندهوا إنه يكون في بيس في شمال برغزال. هم برضو بيقولوا إنه بيحاولوا يساهموا إنه يكون في 35% بتاعت النساء، والحمد لله عندهم الجفنر بتاعهم سارة كريتو يهو جفنر بتاعت نورثرن برغزال، وقالت في 2
That's a week. We have the speaker and the deputy speaker from Northern Barghazal and also the legislature. In Warab, we have the governor, and wow, we have the governor, which is Sarah Kaleto, Western.
طيب عندنا governor سارة كريتو، عندنا speaker والديبيوتي speaker، فالنساوين ويا نساوين ماشيين كويس، واحنا بنحتاج انه برضه الحاجه ده يحصل في الولايات الثانيه. من ضمن الحاجات اللي بواجههم انه النسبه بتاعت النساوين المتعلمين بسيط، وبرضه الفرص بتاعت النساوين المؤهلين، يعني النسوان اللي بقدر اشتغل في محلات معين ما في، لكن هم بيقولوا انه من الريكومنديشنز الحاجات اللي هم دايرين يشوفوا انه التطبيق بتاعت ال 35% يكون في تأهيل، وبرضه النساوين يكون في برنامج بتاع مايكرو انتربرايز مثلا يدوا سلفيات والنسوان يبدوا تجاره، ده بيكون كويس، وبرضه يكون في تحصين في الجندر فايلنس، ويكون في ايكواليتي، يكون في مساواه برضه، والتعليم بتاع النسوان حاجه مهم جدا. شكرا لك مدام، شكرا لولدك سمع كلامنا وسكت. شكرا لك. I am going to have my co-host take over from me. Okay, she will be presenting as well.
I think we are trying to be attentive and at the same time also being bored. Can someone be a volunteer to make us active, warm up, and energizer? Someone.
Our homemaker here is going to give us an energizer. Thank you.
Nukta.
Alas, good morning. I was burying my head down so that I'm not seen. I didn't know we have the space is little. I don't know. Now, can you stand up? I've had people from Greater Bahar Gaza and from Greater Panay complaining about resources. And I'm very much sure that each Central Equatoria is going to complain about resources. Everybody is complaining about resources. No resources, no activity. No resources, no life. Now we're going to add up numbers so that our numbers become larger and larger, that we can get more resources. My sister is here, Hatman, and the other one from Sheikh Salam. She has had all the challenges. We need peace. We need to Sheikh Salam all over South Sudan and across the border. Okay, I'm going to do like this. We're going to add numbers. 1 plus 1 is equals to 2. 2 plus 2 is equals to 4. This is exercise. No sitting down for nothing. We're not going to sit down for nothing. And what the dam are the cool benches. Then 4 plus 4, you touch your toes, equals 8. When writing 8, you check what your mama gave you. But dear Murphy, if your mama did not give you anything, I'm sorry. Say sorry for her. I'm funny, I'm a happy woman, I want everybody to be happy. I'll tell them about my years old. When you're happy, peace will come. When you're like this, peace will see you like this, it will run away. So let us all be happy. Okay, we go. Sorry, for those who can stand, those who cannot stand, Malay. I always say for those who can stand. Malay, forgive me, my brother. Okay, we go 1. 1 plus 1. You do like this. You see? You see? So that you feel the back is equals to 2. Then you put it down. 2 plus 2. 2 is equals to 4. Up again. Then 4 plus 4 equals to 8. Is equals to 8. Thank you. That was nice. As we settle down, I would like to call the presenter for Greater Equatoria. You're welcome. And request if you can also mix with Arabic. That's okay. Okay, good morning everybody. This is from Greater Equatorial Region presentation. I'm going to talk on the statute of CSOs in Eastern Equatoria as follows. I didn't change, should have been Equatoria. Continue. Open up.
Aisha? Thank you.
Okay. The civil societies are registered with the RRC, except few. Some of the civil society are members of Alliance, Coalition, Women-Led and Network. Some of the civil society have offices as well, structured and employees, while others do not have.
Continue. Roles of civil societies, they conduct advocacy, they lobby, they do networking, influencing, mediation, exercising oversight roles, especially in the executive and legislative wing of the government. Continue. Negotiation, resources mobilization, peace building and conflict resolutions. Those are some of the activities that the civil societies are doing. And then the achievement, the build peace. Of course, building a peace is through dialogue and reconciliation. And then conduct many mediation and negotiation among conflicting communities or parties. Deliver of services, improve civil-military relations. We know, for example, in Eastern Equatoria, one of the civil society managed to go where our brothers were to create really good relationship between the citizen and the military. And then conduct many lobby and advocacy programs, influence many decision makers, won many prizes awards, narrow down the gaps between the people and the government. Of course, as civil society, we are the bridge. The challenges is inadequate funding, inadequate office spaces, complicated project proposal templates designed by many donors and other CSOs cannot effectively fill it, political interference, insecurity in some places, inadequate capacity, short timeline for call of proposals, accessibility, mobility, coordination problems. These are some of the challenges all of our Equatorial, let me say, we are going. And then, recommendations. Ability of funds is very important for us to give services or transform our people. Organization development support, e.g. mobility, laptop printers, office spaces. This is not only giving funds, but also organization need to be developed. Building good relationship with the political organs by being transparent on activities plan and encourage civil society organizations. Why I have brought this? You see, when you're going for activity at the grassroots, the political parties always are worried, or a politician representing that you're going to talk bad about them. So it is good to create that relationship, bring him near or she, so that she knows what you are doing at the ground. And then accountability and transparency by CS to the donors for looking more funding. I'm also giving this to the CSOs. For you to get funding, we need to be accountable and we have to be transparent to the donors so that the donors can give us money. And then capacity building on project proposal writing is mostly needed, while many are not getting funding. And then learning exchange visit is also very important. Why I have brought it, because I have to know my sister from here, what she is doing, or from Bahar Ghazal or Upper Nile, or outside the country is very important to make learning exchange. I think these are my few recommendations. Mine are done in the bulletins. They will Arabic, I give them Taban Mabah translate. It is only for me to communicate, but not for you.
Thank you. I think we're all captured, but I really want to emphasize on the last point. And I think كلام كده ان اسمع وان بحاول ترجم رغم انه انا ما حاولت اشيل كلمات كله، لكن ده اقول في النقطه دافيديكا كلام انه لازم نكون عندنا زوار، والزوار ده بخلينا نتعلم من السياسات الموجود. في النقطة اللي أنا ده we have to emphasize is that those CSOs that are not able to register. They have to learn. Lazima ytalamu min at-ta'lim amalu kif. Udel amendu makati. Badri ytalamu midel alindu maktab. Hasa shino ilhadi mwadko be maktab fa. Baadaye anapata mark ishila presentation of how we tell them voice. So I kindly welcome. We didn't give the Vedika a clap. So the next presenter will be from our sister from the administrative, representing the administrative areas, Miss Tracy. You're welcome. Welcome, Tracy.
Technical issues.
Good morning. Now, I'm not going to dwell on everything that has been said, so I'll try and pick through. Everybody just did 1, 2, 3, and I'm seeing most of the things are also presented. So, about the status of civil society organization in rural administrative area, our sources promote development such as building of schools and drilling of water boreholes. They also advocate for gender equality and equity in terms of any job opportunities, both with private and public sectors. And they raise awareness on the issues affecting the locals. E.g., my sister here, Accord has really been advocating for the birth defects, which is as a result of environmental pollution that comes with the oil that is being mined in our area. She advocates for that. And then we also advocate for democratic development and peace building in the community. And then they also enhance transparency during policy reforms through dialogues. They also initiate the capacity building, women empowerment or youth empowerment. Now we go to roles and achievements of civil society organizations in Ruang. They have set up VSLA, which is Village Saving and Loan Association. I personally do that in a place called Leader, something that I've just come up with. I sit down with women and they bring their money. Some will come with 200 every week on Tuesdays, others are for Thursdays, and at the end of the day, they receive what they've been putting there at about 7 months. That is also one thing that has been achieved. And then they have initiated Young Farmers Association. They also have developed program for dry seasoned vegetables, because our place is very dry and you don't get tomatoes when it's dry. So that is also made. And then they have, they also advocate for girl child education. Most of the girls in our place get married when they're very, very young. And so we advocate for the education rather than them being married off when they're very young. We also lobby for funds to sustain our work. We also monitor government compliance with human rights, because I am sorry to say, but most of our government officials do not view our human rights as our rights at the end of the day. So They're also building active citizenship through civic engagement. And then creating groups for peace building, and then giving a voice to the marginalized and advocating for change. And then we have challenges, which is a hard time getting to decision makers. You cannot easily reach them because there's somebody in the way and they will be like, I'll pass the information, and they never pass the information. And then we have difficulty accessing financial resources. It's a song in South Sudan. And then we have negative changes in legislative rules, which put them on the spot mostly. And then we have negative media coverage. They don't really understand what you're talking about, and they cover it, which makes us, the COS, look so bad in the eyes of the community members. So my recommendations are 3. The decision makers have to create a forum for the COS to easily reach them. They really have to have a forum whereby you can pass your information and they can get back to you saying, this is our response to your question, instead of passing through someone else. And then we also have the COS to create an income generating activity to help them cover their work instead of depending mostly on the donors. There's something you can really do to come up with that. And then I have the last point is the media personnel to be trained on the importance of reporting accurate information. You get the content that somebody is talking about, analyze it, and then report it to the public so that you don't let the people look very bad in the eyes of the public members and the people who really don't understand the information they're trying to pass. And with that, those are the things I've come up with from Rowing, and that is what is going down there on ground. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tracy. Again, we have an issue of translation, but I'll be picking the notes from you as we are having the group discussion. I'll go through with my sisters who didn't understand the English presentation. Otherwise, thank you. Let's give her another clap. At this moment, I would request, since some of us are now dozing off, we need a cup of tea. Whoever wants a cup of coffee can go and pick a cup and come back to attend to the presentation. As we go, we have to be organized, go one by one, and let's avoid the noise. I mentioned that one by one, without noise, and you come and sit as our presenter is on their presentation. So you're welcome, whoever is starting with the tea break. I call upon the presenter from National Civil Society Organizations, and I call upon Ms. Jacinta Grace Apollo Musa for the YWCA South Sudan. You're welcome.
Thank you so much. As I introduced myself earlier, I'm Justina Grace Apollo Musa. I'm a mother to 2 beautiful girls. I'm a public health worker, and I work for YWCA as a project coordinator, coordinating a project that is Together for Inclusion, working with persons with disability, who are the most marginalized people in our country and in our society and the communities that we come from. I'm standing here to present on behalf of YWCA. I was delegated by the executive director, who is not available. She traveled, and I'm putting on her shoes to talk about YWCA. Next. YWCA South Sudan was established in 1997 as the women group in Yambio in Western Equatoria State. South Sudan. In 2007, YWCA South Sudan was affiliated to the World YWCA, which is our leading organization that brings all together the YWCA's over 125 countries. World YWCA during the World Council in Nairobi, Kenya. Currently, YWCA South Sudan has 8 branches located in Tongra, Zara, Yambio, Meridi, Mundri in Western Equatoria, in Juba, which is the central, and Wow in Western Bereg as well, and Eastern Equatoria in Kapoita. And this is where we work with persons with disability. YWCA head office is located in Yambio with a national coordination office in Juba. Next. YWCA South Sudan focuses on 6 thematic areas, mainly improving, protecting, and security of women and girls, offering psychosocial support, that's through trauma healing and counseling, enhancing women and girls' economic empowerment, inclusive education, peace building, leadership of young women, and strengthening institutional governance. And this project, we have different donors for them, especially in strengthening institutional governance. We are being funded by Oxfam, and they have tried their best to build the capacity of YWCA to ensure that we reach the community and change lives of the community. Inclusion of persons with disability. Can we go back? Inclusion of persons with disability and sexual reproductive health and rights. YWCA South Sudan is a women-led organization that works to empower young women, transform communities, promote peace and peaceful coexistence through women leadership. Because we believe that through women leadership, there is peace. And that's why we take the lead as women-led organization to advocate for peace. Yes, the next slide. YWCA vision is a society where the rights of women and girls and sustainable environment are promoted, achieved, and protected through the women leadership. And that's the vision of YWCA. Our mission is to empower women and girls in South Sudan to achieve justice, peace, health, human dignity, and sustainable environment, to develop their leadership skills and values, to effectively participate in nation building. Our major achievement, one of the projects that we have is psychosocial support, which is to offer trauma healing and counseling to people who have been affected through GBV cases, and also people who have been affected through the conflict. Through this program, YWCA South Sudan offers counseling and legal aid to many survivors. Our psychosocial support provides access to justice for vulnerable community members, reduce the rate of GBV, and increase awareness on human rights and peace building at the grassroots level. We have an economic empowerment, which is formed through saving and investment group. And it's about 100 group with over 7,000 members since 2014 to date. Economic Empowerment Group is designed to improve the livelihood of rural communities in South Sudan. YWCA South Sudan train community members on entrepreneurial skills and encourage them to join saving and investment group. And we do this through VICOVA, which is Village Banking Group. Between 2014 and to 2022, YWCA have been able to work successfully with 7,000 community members. And through the Economic Empowerment Program, we ensure that women at the grassroots level are able to start up their small capital, and we promote them through advocating, through promoting their business to ensure that they have access to their market. And sometimes we buy even things from them at the grassroots level, like their vegetables, and then it's being brought to the market because some of them cannot access the market. So we ensure that they have access to the market with their goods. And also, we train them on bookkeeping and how they can maintain their business to be able to earn their living and also provide for their children. As you all know, in South Sudan, most of the women are either single mothers, women who have lost their husbands, and they are raising up children by themselves. So through the economic empowerment, they are able to raise the capacity of their children to another level through paying them to school and also through earning their living. Next. We have the peace building program. And this peace building program bring all the young women and men and the youth to advocate for peace in our country. And we do this through composing songs, we do dramas, we do dancing, and we organize tournaments. And that's to promote peace amongst ourselves. And we all know that, especially when it's tournament, everybody loves football. And it's done through this tournament to be able to reach a lot of people. And also our volunteers sing a lot of songs relating to peace, and we act a lot of dramas. This is one way of creating awareness about peace. Yes? YWCA South Sudan carries out advocacy for peace locally, nationally, and international. And I can testify that I have been one of the participants that have traveled to attend the Human Rights Council in Geneva to talk about the issues we face as young women and girls, and especially representing my country, South Sudan, coming from a grassroots level, standing and talking on behalf of the young girls and women who are at the grassroots level about issues that they are affecting. And YWCA was able to send some young women to attend the Commission on the Status of the Women, of which I also participated, and it is a platform where we talk about the issues that we face. And I remember in 2017 when I was attending, one of our young women, what she told me was, Justina, as you go to represent South Sudan, you're not going to stand and talk on behalf of yourself, but you're going to talk about us. And because she was rejected visa to go and attend, and she said, you don't give us visa to go and attend and talk about the issues that we are facing ourselves, but you like to bring it out when you're not the one who is part of the problem. And as I went, I talked on behalf of the young women and girls at the grassroots level who don't know anything about social media, who can't raise her voice, and who is not able to say anything. And through this advocacy program, we are able to change the society and also air out issues that we face as young women and girls in South Sudan. YWCA offer training to adolescent girls on prevention of early pregnancy and avoid high rate of school dropout. And this is done through the Sexual Reproductive Health and Rights. And this project is funded by Horizon. They are to ensure that girls are kept at school. And we do this by providing for them sanitary towels, which is the reusable pads, of which we realized that giving it to them will not sustain them at school, but how to train them to make their own reusable pads will sustain them at school, because at any time they will be able to have access to these reusable pads. And we also train them on how they can stand for their rights, for which part of their body that is not supposed to be played with, and to also train them on the usage of family planning and what are the types of these family plannings that they need to use. And because we have most of our young women and girls who have dropped out of school and they want to join school, but every year they plan of joining school, they conceive. Every year they plan of joining school, they conceive. They need to be told what are some of the things that will prevent them from dropping out of school. We have the education program. YWCA constructed a big school in YWCA Meribi branch that hosted over 750 pupils from nursery to primary age, with the aim of bringing quality education to the community. In 2019, the school was the best school in the branch or the county, which is Meribi County. We now have the Together for Inclusion project, which I coordinate. This is a project that works with persons with disability to ensure that persons with disability have access to quality inclusive education, quality inclusive economic empowerment, and quality inclusive human rights advocacy. As we all know, persons with disability are being neglected in the community. They face a lot of challenges in the community. They do not have access to quality education because our education system is not in place to support persons with disability. And through this, we train teachers on sign language. And yesterday was the first day for the International Deaf Week, and it's going to run for 7 days. And one of the things for yesterday was to train sign language interpreters on how to communicate with persons with disability and how the teachers can be able to communicate with the learners in their various levels. And also, we train them on economic empowerment and ensure that the market is closer to them, because these are vulnerable people that are being marginalized according to their impairment. Especially if you're a visual person, you're not seeing what is happening around you. And anything can happen to you. And you have a family to raise. So through this project, we ensure that these persons with disability, despite their various impairment, we ensure that they have access to the market, they are able to start up their business, and they are able to earn their living, because they are humans. We should not judge them by their impairment. And we also have the trauma healing, which is cross-cutting, because persons with disability have been traumatized because the community undermines them. The society don't look up to them, especially women with disability. They are the most marginalized. I don't know which term I can use for it. So this is also some of the projects that we have. And then YPCA also have scholarship programs. These scholarship programs is to young women and boys from vulnerable families to have access to higher education. And over 10 young women and boys have graduated with bachelor's, diploma, and master's degree. Next. Young Women for Agency, Awareness, Advocacy and Accountability. This is a new project that is being funded by the Netherlands government, and the aim of this project is to ensure that young women and women voices are heard. And we have the exchange program where we send young women and men to go to other parts of the country to understand the environment on how people advocate in the different countries and also bring the knowledge back to YWCA. And we have sent over 35 young women to go to different countries. And one of our young women who won this time traveled to Kenya, and one of our young men traveled to Norway. And we do this through our volunteers. We don't take the advert out, but we have young volunteers within our organization, and we give them the opportunity to apply, and they get the chance to travel and learn with other different organizations. We have the Let Girls Talk initiative. This is just like a safe space for us, the young girls and women, to come out and discuss issues that is affecting us, being it through our sexual reproductive health and rights, or being it our personal issues, our marriage issues. It's like a safe space for us to talk and discuss and see way forward and see how we can help other young women at the grassroots level. Challenges, of course, most of us know that for us to be able to reach very many parts of the country, we need funding. Also, we have a staff turnover, depending on the project, that sometimes qualified and experts will not like to work with us because we can't afford to pay them, and they go for bigger international NGOs. And also, being a national organization, many international organizations do not want to recognize the great work that we are doing as YWCA, because in the world of NGO now, it's just like a competition. Who is doing what and who is doing what and who is leading. So it's high time for us to come up as national NGOs and support each other to ensure that the work that we are doing are realized and recognized by the community and the world. Of course, we have our future plan is to expand the organization to other parts of the country and to increase more peace building activities and increase resource mobilization. I was for a resource mobilization training, but when I was told to come here, I said it's very important I be here because I know I'm coming to be with my sisters and brothers and learn more from them. We also plan to network and coalition building, and this is very important for us. As national organizations, we need to build a consortium where we are able to raise our issues and it reaches to the stakeholders, and also how we can get funding to address the issues that we are facing as South Sudan. That's the end of my presentation. I'm very sorry I've taken too much time. My apologies.
Thank you, Jacinta. Thanks for the work of YWCA, which is the Young Women Christian Association, South Sudan. That's great work. Ana Gerard Japesi Arabi Juba. Boys, a bit Alkana Tina da, Joe Kalaman Munazama Hishara Few. One Munazama there, we said, yeah, I'm Shabab Niswan, the Zat. في شغل بتاعهم عندهم مدارس بنوا مدارس للشباب وللنسوان وسجل بنات عشان يستمر بالقرايه. كيف؟ هم بدوا حصص عن صحه عشان البنات مرات في المدرسه ثانيين بكون عندهم دوره بدهم حاجات بتاع الدوره اللي هم ده. برضه في صحهم بتكلم كلام تنظيم الأسرة عشان البنات ما يكملوا في زمن المدارس. هم برضه عندهم برنامج بتاع تجارة بيسجل النسوان برضه في القرى، ما بس في المدينة، في القرى بدون فرصة عشان يعملوا تجارة. فده بيصير بعدين برضه أنا بكون معاكم، أنا بشيل منهم الكلام ده وبرجع معاكم في ده. Otherwise, that's little from me. I would like to ask our next presenter. I want to acknowledge something. As Jacinta was presenting, we were having tea and it was very nice, well organized. For those who have not gotten their tea, they are also welcome, just as the others. Go one by one and sit and listen to the presentation. Okay.
Ms. Jacinta, thank you so much for your presentation. I just want to add something to what you said. You mentioned in one of the challenges, Young Women Christian Association. For all the people who are here, it's a very important organization, because once you have Christ, once you bring up your daughter in a Christian way, it helps in so many ways. Faith is what has kept me going for years. And as a Young Christian Association member or a leader, you mentioned that the bigger organizations do not want to work with you. Be unique. Let yourself be known. Go and ask the other organizations that are known, how were you known? What did you do to become great? And you will get there. So don't give up. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Beck. It's time now to call for the representative from the Media Development Institute, Ms. Joan Evelyn Mule. You're welcome. 10 minutes.
Thank you so much. Appreciate this opportunity. Apologies, I am not really good at Arabic, so I will keep it to English. My name is Joanna Evelyn Mule, and I am here representing the media. My boss, the principal for the Media Development Institute, is supposed to be here. Unfortunately, she's kind of engaged. I am a journalist by profession and a communications personnel, and I am the current Secretary General for the Female Journalists Network. Now, we saw it very important for the media to work with the civil society organizations, because they complement each other at all that they do. And that is why I am going to have this brief presentation to see how best we can improve our engagement to promote gender equality and peaceful coexistence in South Sudan as a country. As you can see in the presentation, we have a civil society being a group of citizens that come together collectively to contribute to a common goal. And I believe that is why all of us are here today. And the media refers to the different ways or platforms through which information is processed and delivered accordingly to the target audience out there. And then we have gender equality. This refers to the state of equal ease of access to resources and opportunities, regardless of gender, including economic participation and decision making, and the state of valuing different behaviors, aspirations, and needs equally, regardless of gender. And then peaceful coexistence. This is living together, regardless of our different behaviors or ways of life. So when we can easily adopt and learn and accept people for who they are and how they are in our society, we can easily be able to live in harmony and peace together. And that is why it's very important for this particular topic to be discussed. When we are understanding the connection between the media and the civil society organizations. So people may start up an organization to advocate for something without knowing how important it is for them to engage with the media, and that is why we need to understand how the civil society can work with the media in order to promote and work together as they want to achieve their goals. Now, the fourth estate, which is the media in this sense, and the CSOs have the responsibility to hold the government and those in authority accountable for in all aspects, especially in accordance with constitutions, the laws and treaties that are penned. Now, we have our different objectives, our goals and missions in our different organizations. So we hold the government accountable. I did hear somebody talk of issues in Upper Nile, where probably the government is having a project that is affecting the people, and we may have an organization that is trying to fight for the health of the people. For example, if we said there's oil spilling somewhere, and this organization is saying it is affecting, it's bringing deformities in our society. So you can hold the government accountable as an organization in such a sense. And so you need the media to bring out this to light. We have among the many roles that they both create, raise awareness, educate, advocate, and give detailed interpretation and understanding of the policies governing the state and their rights. Unlike the CSOs, we find that the media sets the agenda for the public. So how the media sets the agenda for the public is that, for example, we have something that is happening in this particular country. When we saw dredging became a very big problem because a national debate, because the media put it out there as something very important. So yes, so if we can work together and see that we put out what is important. Somebody did mention that the media is portraying the CSOs in a very negative way. I want to say the media reports what it sees. Now it's up to you as an organization to see that you are outstanding and you are doing something unique that is worth reporting. Because in the media we have what is newsworthy. You may be doing something that is a public relations for you as a media organization. But how do you put it out there for the public to appreciate it as something that is worthy? That is the question, and that is why we are here trying to understand how the media and the CSOs can work together and understand so many things. It is therefore important for the CSOs to mutually support each other if they are to achieve their objectives to provide truthful information and truthful information to the public. Now, how the civil society can work with the media to promote gender equality and peaceful coexistence. The civil society organizations that conduct policy relevant research and analysis to contribute to all sector oversight by making their findings and reports publicly accessible and by providing suggestions and recommendations. For example, when you have such a gathering where you come up with challenges, recommendations, and you also go deeper and do your research, put it public so that the media can be able to access this. And also it can help not only you but other organizations also to achieve their goals. They should also establish a dialogue and engage on an ongoing basis with members of parliament and the government in order to influence policy making and implementation. So we need to work together with the authorities to see that we can move well. They can also draw international attention to national issues through international forums and regional organizations as well as the media in order to exercise greater impact on the national policy making processes, reflecting and defending the interests and needs of the minorities and other groups of the society that tend of the groups of the society that tend to be marginalized. Somebody did talk about those with disabilities. So when we tend to see that we focus on the marginalized societies, the media is willing to come and cover it because you're doing something that is outstanding, that is very important. So that is why it is important. Creating or raising awareness is crucial for CSOs in order for the public to know their rights, vice versa, sectors, especially the security sector, about how effective and responsible they should behave in a democratic governance setting. That is also very important. Now, this further promotes public interest in complex security issues that may otherwise go undiscussed due to vested political, economic, or criminal interest groups. It should be noted that the CSOs Okay, can I? This one. All right. Thank you very much. Now, it should also be noted that the CSOs play a very significant role in educating the media about so many issues. So we may think that the media knows everything, but it doesn't. The media learns from what you discuss. So you should know that your role to educate the media on certain things so that they can put out the right information. The civil society and the media can contribute to gender equality by monitoring and overseeing the following areas, but not limited to the following areas: gender compliance with the laws and regulations, respect for the Constitution and human rights, sorry for the errors, reports, respect of commitments made via international, bilateral, treaty obligations, and policy statements. Campaign against gender-based violence, women empowerment, equality of salary at workplaces regardless of the gender, public spending, corruption, policy processes, and effectiveness of policies and actions. Thank you. Now, how to organize at grassroots levels, because some of us might be community-based organizations. Now, we say, why is it important? It's important because it will avoid overcrowding and creating less impact in our communities, making it monotonous business, and the society loses trust in the civic space or the civil society. How is that? Where you go, all of you are on one kind of project in a society, in a community. You find somebody in Boris doing the same thing, the other organization, the community will lose trust in what you're doing because you've made it a usual business. So try to be kind of creative and see that if they are doing this, you do the other and be organized as CSOs. Have an umbrella at grassroots state level where you can discuss issues of concern as far as same project implementations in the same locations are concerned. Hold annual planning meetings with partners to see that projects can fit to be implemented in what areas and to avoid congestions again. Hold conferences where you discuss challenges and come up with recommendations about projects. You can also hold conferences, yes, where you can engage your beneficiaries and stakeholders. Now, have a clearly proper way of planning this project where your organization. All right, so I should be facing that side, I guess. Because if I look that side, can I have a look? So we have a clearly proper project planning system in your organization. This will keep you organized and increase organized. And in case of amendments to be made, it will not be so hard. You'll just have to deviate slightly from your earlier on planned project. So that is how it is. It will be very important. Now, have a clear and proper documentation method in your organization to track your accomplishments, failures, challenges, and recommendations for future projects. Let the goal of every project be seen visibly, not only by the donors, but also by the beneficiaries and the public. Now, use of media to promote and document your progress during your project implementations. Okay. Now, how the grassroots CSOs can showcase their activities through the use of media or through the media by creating or raising awareness in your communities on issues, in this particular case, on issues of gender equality and peace coexistence. Okay, this could be coming up with a project or a campaign that could be about hate speech, that could be about stopping tribalism and all that. That is how created based on what your organization stands for and what its mission is. Now, documenting stories of positive change, those are known as the success stories. When you document them, it will be very, very important for you. Holding press conferences for relevant issues where necessary. Through the communications personnel, you need to invite the media on certain things that will help you get out there as an organization. Now, standing for and with the marginalized population in the community, for example, through giving back to them, I've seen so many other organizations that come up with a plan to provide for the disabled or people with special needs, providing them with equipment to use. So if we can also come up with something like that, it will work as the public relations for the organization and works for the journalism or for the media as a newsworthy thing. Okay, so that we need to put into consideration. You can go on with holding radio talks, television shows, and on relevant issues, especially for this particular topic on peaceful coexistence and also about gender equality in our society. So many people complain of the money that is being paid at these radio stations when you want to go for a talk show. But we should also put in consideration that most of these media houses are actually private and they get their money through this. So we can still negotiate with these media managers or these organizations to see that we put out, and yeah. But also, if you do so good, you just have to attract them to cover you as a news story instead of having it, or even inviting you for the talk show where you don't have to pay for it. But that will take something for you to get there. How to responsibly use the media to advocate for gender equality and peaceful coexistence. Now, publishing the stories of positive change using positively persuasive language on your social media. Okay, it is very important. I don't know how many people have social media pages for their organizations, how many people have communications personnel, how many people have social media managers, but these are all things that you need as CSOs in order to put out what you are doing, if you need to be recognized in any ways. And this is also a lobbying strategy, by the way, for people, for other donors to see what you're doing and come to support you. Or when you go to them, they'll be able to support you because they've seen your relevant work, have the website and all of that. So don't post what you are not sure of on your social media. Have somebody professional to handle it for you. Differentiate between your personal social media and your organizational media, where you don't respond to things anyhow, which will tarnish the reputation of your organization. Be sensitive of your postings as far as gender is concerned. Do not take one side, when we talk of gender, we're talking for both the men and the women. When you start to only focus on the women, then it makes no sense because you're not preparing the women for the men out there. So you need to see how you can get together and work all these respectively. You should comment respectively on your social media, and how you can respond to comments made on your platform. You should be respectful enough. This is how you can promote this. Okay, this has been said. And then be an ambassador of peace, where you advocate for peace in all that you do. We are to achieve the goal of peaceful coexistence in our society. Next slide, please. Don't post what you are not sure, better consult. Now, I did already ask those questions. Do you know what social media is? If yes, list the social media that you know. What social media do you know? Probably you know Facebook. Do you know Instagram? Do you know TikTok? Do you know Twitter? Do you know LinkedIn? Do you know all these things? Do you know them? And how best do you use them? Today, we upload our CVs, okay? On media. You upload it there, and if somebody has some job for you specifically, you get that information because your CV is already online. Do you know that? If you do not know, it's time you get to know it and use it effectively. Does your organization have a social media account? If yes, what is it for? What do you do? Do you post your family pictures? Do you do, your friends hang out and all that? Or you promote the organization through sharing the activities that your organization is doing? That is a question for you and your organization when you get back home. Now, do you have a qualified personnel that manages your social media? If not, do you think it is important to have one? If I were you, I would say it is important. It's time you try to get these people. It's not very costly. You can negotiate and you can have your work published out there. Effective usage of social media as an organization is one of the best ways to promote and show your organizational progress today. What is your opinion on that above statement? Yeah, I think you can think of that, but I think it's a very rhetoric question based on what we've already discussed. So, yeah. Now, does the media, social media as a tool for the CSOs, okay? How can social media be used by the CSOs? Now, it promotes your works through publishing in progressive activities, evidently. For example, right now here, I've already seen the South Sudanese Women Intellectuals Forum. They already posted at the beginning of this. Now, the public knows that the South Sudanese Women Intellectuals Forum is having something, okay? They're engaging in such a thing. Now, if you work for the organization and you really love your organization and you have your social media, what do you use it for? You will probably share. Just share, and it's up to whoever sees it, and that's it. You've already sold out your agenda anyway, so it's a good thing. It amplifies your brand as an organization. It gives you a bit of people will rely on you, people will believe in you, people will see that indeed you're doing something. People will not question you as an organization or being lost, probably because they only see one, they only see Cornell, they only see the other. So if you can have all these activities put out there, it will be very important because the public will trust you. Your donors will trust you. Beneficiaries will see that you're indeed doing something good. When you go to Bobby next time, you'll be able to be accepted because you're already putting out something. Because nobody will want to put something where there's no progress, okay? So that's how it works. Your target audience, the youth, is active on social media, okay? Because most of South Sudan has 78% of its population as the youth, right? So that means your target person, your beneficiaries are actually on social media. So when you use social media effectively, you'll be able to achieve a lot in a very short while. It acts as a documentation tool. Maybe in the future, even when you're gone, you passed, some people will come and still see that so and so was involved in an activity years ago, and it's on social media, so it is a documentation tool. It clearly brings out what you stand for, okay? What you put out there will represent you as an organization. It works as a strategy to lobby that you've already explained. Your services are indirectly accessed by diverse persons, stakeholders, and potential donors because you do not know who sees your watches on Facebook. So many of us here see things on Facebook, but we don't react. So you have no idea how many people are watching you. So just keep it up and things will get there. It is also a tool for advocacy.
If you are here as any CSO, you are advocating for something. So it is a very effective tool for advocacy. Now, challenges faced when using social media by these CSOs. Now, we have the technical aspect. Now, it requires the internet. Okay, that's where resources are going to be, are going to come in. You need the internet. You need to charge the phones. Okay, you need the camera. You need, uh, you need the internet. You need the power. You need the camera, which is the equipment, and the computer or the phone to do this work. Okay, and then you need a highly qualified personnel. If they're not highly qualified, the cheaper, the more expensive it is. Now, that is how it works. So find somebody who can do it, or if they're willing to do it so well and learn, it is a good start for you. So that is it. And then next slide, please. Yeah. So other challenges, we have character assassination or duplication of pages. Okay. You'll find that we have South Sudanese Women Intellectuals Forum, and somebody creates an account, South Sudanese Women Intellectuals Forum. Okay? But because you believe in something, somebody will post something different from what you do. So these are things you need to be prepared as an organization to see that you have somebody who's experienced, who is qualified to manage these social media pages, so that you can be able to curb and minimize the chances of these things happening. Okay? Now, but in case that happens, you have to report this particular page. But reporting also, you need to understand how it works. It's not, yeah. So you need to consult, you need some knowledge and training, probably capacity building on how to use social media and all things that are involved. Inappropriate feedback, uncalled for comments and disrespectful language. That is the order of the day on social media. You're most likely going to be offended over and over again. So you need to prepare yourself as an organization to see how best you can respond to this. And if you don't have a qualified person you are going to mess up, you're going to respond in a very arrogant and weird way, which will tarnish the entire organization for the rest of its life. We have fake information, what other people call fake news. Now, this is where a user creates or shares unverified information just because they feel they rely on the source. Okay? They feel, so-and-so posted it, she's my friend, I have to share this information, which is not actually true. For example, somebody will go and say, the South Sudanese Women Intellectuals Forum today trained a number of, held a workshop on gender inequality, or training women to fight men. Okay? Now that is misinformation. But because somebody out there thinks affected information, somebody out there believes in whoever posted it, they'll just share it, and it will trend and trend and trend, and it will backfire to the organization. So these are things you need to prepare as an organization as you venture into usage of social media to promote your brand. Disinformation, this is where you just go to social media user, deliberately create a message to a target group of people. For example, you say a certain tribe is this and that. You just create that, because you feel, it is what you should do. You're just trying to, misinform people, but you have interest in it because you want to tarnish. You want that tribe to feel weird about certain things. So you just do that. That becomes very terrible, very, very terrible. And it is punishable by law, by the way. And then we have the misinformation, because without a goal, you just want to spread something without any feedback. You don't wish, whether they see it or not, but you have put it out there. That is very, very bad. Hate speech. Now here, users use social media to promote negative propaganda. Now, somebody will say, what is propaganda? We may think propaganda is positive, is negative, but propaganda actually is both positive and negative. Now, somebody will do it because they want a particular topic to fit their interest, and that is the kind of propaganda they want to spread. And then they'll just have to use it and to continue it like that, to make the other people lose trust in other people or that particular topic. So that is very, very bad. Hate speech is something that we all should advocate, we all should see that our communities, in order to engage peacefully, we need to deal with hate speech in our communities. It is a very, very big thing in South Sudan as a country. So we need to fight that.
contributors to mental health crisis. Social media has a lot of unhealthy pressure that may affect your mental health as an individual. So this is so much into whoever will handle your social media pages. Okay, if they focus so much on the negative, it's going to affect them. I don't know if I did mention earlier, I'm a mental health advocate, and that is why it's very, very important for you to see that how you use your social media is going to affect your mental health. Now, how to guard against contributors to gender inequality and violence on social media? Be skeptical on the information you feed yourself with. Question, be curious, question, don't just be gullible and consume any information you see on social media. Okay? Be skeptical. If it's too good to be true, question it. Okay? Do information verification. Buy the right information sources. For example, the right news outlets for me would be Radio Miraya and so many other sources. If you've seen that there's something happening here, you need to verify have these media houses published it or not. Then you can, go on and share it or not share it. The choice is yours. Do fact checking. This can be through use of image search. So we have so many tools used to search pictures or photos on the media. You find somebody is using a picture that was used in Zambia years ago that it happened in Juba, and then it's inciting violence in our society. So for you to do that, you get the picture, go to Google. We have so many search engines, search for reverse image search, and then get that picture, put it there. You get all the information that shows that this picture was first used in Zambia years ago and not in South Sudan, and then you'll be informed. Restrict and censor the information or comments you receive by muting certain words that incite violence. Now, there's so many organizations. For example, the South Sudanese Women Intellectuals Forum has a number of moderators. Now, they have given words that they don't want on their platforms. For example, words that create, that incite violence, where somebody comments and is talking about tribalism and all that, it will first come to the moderators for them to either allow it or not. And that is how organizations should also work. You have to mute those words that you don't want to relate with that incite violence. Restraining from engaging in posts that provoke violence and all related issues. So you just have to restrain from things, engagements. Somebody's posted something weird and you think you want to defend your tribe, you want to defend blah, 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 blah. No, sometimes you just need to let things go so that things do not get out of hand. So yeah, that's from me. That's all I have for you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ms. Joanna. I have learned so much. I don't know about you, but I'm not so technically inclined in social media, but I use it. I use it to pass information to people. And the information you gave is gold. Thank you. And that's why they say, Adil Khabasin, you give the right people who know it, and especially the young. When I need anything to be done in social media, I usually tell my kids to do it because my knowledge is not that great. I'm from the old age. أنا هحاول أتكلم بعربي. الوسائل الاجتماعية. الوسائل الاجتماعية ده مهمة جدا. بتساعد، ممكن يكون كويس، ممكن يكون كعب. احنا كلنا هنا تقريبا عندنا فيسبوك. واحنا شفنا الطريقة الكويس اللي احنا ممكن نستخدمه والطريقة الكعب. Justina, you should get in touch with Ms. Joanne. هي قالت حاجة مهمة جدا. Using it to promote yourself. Using it to show your progress. عشان توري ذاته النجاحات بتاعتك شنو؟ نجحت في شنو؟ الاشغال الجبال قدمتيه لو بتتذكري، اتكلمتي عن الطلبه اللي بيمشوا بدون المنح، بيمشوا برا الفيليج لون اللي هو دعم اللي انتم بتدوا للنساء، ده كله لو خديته it was الوسائل الاجتماعيه الناس هتعرف كويس. في ناس معانا في كلاب هاوس، انا ما اعرف في كم منكم عندهم كلاب هاوس، لكن الناس بيستخدموه بطريقه سيئه. الكلمات اللي انت بتستخدمها مهم جدا، لازم تتكلم بطريقه كويس. بيقولوا اللسان الحلو، الكلمه الحلو جوا السفر، صح؟ ده كلام زمان قاعدين يقولوا زول اللسان بتاعه الكلام الحلو في خشم سين، كويس؟ و words are powerful. Words can burn, words can cut, and what you say can become. كلام اللي انت بتقوله ده لو تلاحظتوا عيال بتاعنا احنا بنسميهم اسامي كده محرجه، صح؟ في عادات بتاعنا احنا بنستخدم مرات تعبان، مش زعلان، نمر مثلا، سجن، ده اسامي ما بتساعد. لكن لما انت تقول مثلا جناح اكس هيكون جوي مثلا، بيس، كويس، امل، حب. الاسامي دي بخلي الجنة ده يفكر في حاجات اليوم. لكن لما تسمي جنات زعلان تفتكر الزول ده هيعمل شنو؟ هيزعل الراجل كله، صح؟ لان انتوا سميتوا زي ده. فمهم جدا بنفس الطريقه الوسائل الاجتماعيه ده بتضر. حتى في ناس بيمشوا لايف عشان يمشي يشتم زول، ده ما صح. لو انت عندك منظمه، ده وسائل انت ممكن تستخدمها عشان منظم كان يكبر. كلامات اللي هي قالته I'm going to get in touch with you. I need that presentation so that I will learn. وانتوا برضو الليله احنا هنا ليه؟ عشان نجي مع بعض ونجي نشتغل مع بعض. كويس؟ نتعلم من بعض. في ناس ممكن يخلقوا السمعه بتاعت زول في السوشيال ميديا. كويس؟ اهداف بتاعتك لو انت خدتها في المواقع بتاعت التواصل الاجتماعي ده بيساعد. وانا بديكم مثل. اول امبارح ده لما احنا كنا في ثوره قاعدين ننظف في كورين بتاعت الايام، في ولد صغير كان يتكلم انه هو عنده جنة، مرته ولدت يوم 26 شهر 8 وما داير جنة بتاعه يربى تاني في الشارع. الكلام ده مش سووه في استراليا. مايكل كريستوفر انتوا بتعرفوا كلهم عمل الفيديو ده كان معانا. الكلام ده مش سووه. وامبارح انا مشيت استلمت $200 جاي من استراليا. ليه؟ It's a positive way of using social media. مايكل كريستوفر قدم القصه بتاعته، الناس تبغى they believed it. لو بتتذكروا في جبال قالت you are talking to the media people, you are talking to donors, you are talking, you don't know who you are talking to. لأنه ممكن يكون زول قلبه بس يدق ويقول يا سلام كلام القالوا ده عجبني ما ندي دعم حد. كويس؟ دي الطريقة الناس بيدوا دعم. فاستخدموا الوسائل الاجتماعية ده كل وقت. خليه يكون عندكم انت بتدفع عشان يشتغل، لأن لما تجيب زول متخصص الشغل بيمشي نظيف. وبرضه يكون في زول البرود لسانه حلو، لأنه لما أنت ترد لزول زول قال لك يا أخي الكلام بتاعك ده كلام فارغ، قال أنت ترد تقول يا أخي ما تمشي يا أخي الكلام ده ما ليه، عملت شنو لنفسك؟ أنت براك شلت مسدس وضربت كورينك براك، صح؟ عشان كده مهم جدا تشتغل. فالوقت ده أنا بديه لأخوي كيم بيان وق هيتكلم هو عضو هيتكلم عن النيابه بتاعت المعوقين في المجتمع بتاعنا. يا جماعه زمان لما احنا كنا في الخرطوم لما زول يجي جانا معوق بندسه يا ربنا كان ما بتعيد من ده كان عندها سيريبرال بالسي لانه معوق. حتى ليه انا بقول ده زول عوير ده زول بليد ده زول كده، لكن ما كده. ربنا احنا خلقونا كلنا بشبه بتاعت ربنا. كان انت معوق كان انت كويس ولا ما كويس انت لسه يو ستيل بتعمل. اوكي؟ فالاخ كيم اتفضل. انا هديك 5 دقائق لانه احنا هنمشي للبريك بعد شوي. اتفضل.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. I want to, before I start my sharing with you the message I want to share with you today, I would like to also acknowledge the creativity and the style of leadership that you have shown today. In such time management, which is very important. You have really identified a very effective way of taking tea and at the same time also doing the communication, which is very, very important. We sometimes lose sight on these small things. And this is actually the virtue that is created in the minority group in our society, the women and people with disabilities. We feel through the cracks, the small cracks that the majority, sometimes forget to identify. Thank you so much for this type of leadership. And allow me to also take this opportunity to congratulate you and acknowledge you for organizing this session and in this forum. In also much the same way, I also want to acknowledge and congratulate all the participants in this session. And I want to make sure that we all share the values and the contributions that we all bring here today. This is very important because we embody the common cause of our country. Comrades and friends, be that as it may, it is incumbent upon all of us to champion this cause of holistic action of our national journey to the promised land of glorious day, where values and where values are placed in the heart of leadership. I want to apologize because I did not prepare my presentation in advance so that we can all have it in power. But I promise I will give it to the facilitators. Today I want to share with you let me use my natural voice. Maybe I am not very okay. Today I want to share with you the view of inclusion of persons with disability in this forum. This is a view that we have carried out in all aspects of our activities, of our engagements in the society, and we are happy that we have you also here today, just like the other groups that we have been sharing, the opportunity to dialogue together for the inclusion of people with disability. Just like mentioned by some of the representatives of other organizations and presenters, especially from the media development, the inclusion of people with disability, especially in the media and in other aspects of our society. It is also important for us to understand how basically this can work in as far as transformation of the country is concerned. We have shared our views widely across the country, and we continue to share also the same views. And this is because we think we are, sometimes undermined and ignored by leadership across the board. The women leaders, the political leaders, the church leaders, and all other leaderships tend to overlook the issues that face people with disability in the country. And in this regard, we take our advocacy activity to the next door of all the leaders in this country, so that in all the processes, national processes, be that the, the legislations, forums, I mean, the process of constitution making and other legislations. We need our views to be, to be supported by all leaders so that they find their ways into our laws, so that by the next generation we can have an inclusive society where the values of all the members of the society are respected. Okay, yeah. All right. Thank you so much. She's reminding me of time, and I feel I was not a bit organized, but I will try as much as possible to capture the main points. Thank you so much. I also think we are not overstepping the rights of people with disability. I'm sorry we do not do that. I know. We want to call upon all of us to be active and realistic in the inclusion of persons with disabilities in our activities, just like one of us has done from the media development. I think this is very practical example, and this should apply across the board for all of us that are engaged in all parts of the society. We for the last few years engaged in sport program to promote the participation of people with disability in sport, and I had an opportunity to go to 2 states. I went to Usaid State last year and Warab State, and I dialogued with the government institutions that are relevant and involved in the implementation of policies and affairs of people with disability, the gender and social welfare, and I shared with them the inclusion of children with disability in schools and linkages of resources and services to organizations and individuals with disability so that we can improve their lives and promote their livelihoods. This is very important because we need to leave no one behind in our society. We need to have an inclusive society where we all live together, and we need to start. The other aspect is the capacity development for people with disability. The capacity development is looked in this way. In terms of a scholarship offering, we think the areas of disability is undermined in as far as offering scholarship abroad is concerned. And this needs to be advocated by all of us. We need to realize our potential, all of us, and aspirations of all the persons and the citizens of this country. It's very important to develop the capacity of each and every citizen of this country so that what we are looking for can easily be attained to in terms of the great society that we need cannot be attended by the advocates, people who are provoking violence, are people who are not well prepared mentally. And so if we develop the capacity, I think we will be positive in all our actions. In terms of sharing things on social media, somebody that has the capacity will know what to share and will know the consequence of what they put on the social media. This is very important so that we can all support this for us to transform our country. I want to respect the time, and I will forward my work to my sister here. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Thank you very much, Brother Kim. شكرا جزيلا للأخ كيم. يا جماعة كلامه هو يتكلم فوقه إنه العجز هو disability ولا تعويض ما عجز. Disability is not an inability. لأنه ربنا أدام المخ، ربنا أدام القلب. في ناس متعوقين هسه بيعملوا معجزات، بيعملوا حاجات أصلا زول زيي بفتكر إنه أنا زول عادي ما عندي تعويض ما بقدر أعمل، لكن هم بيعملوا لأنه أي زول عنده موهبة وتحته. الناس المتعوقين فشل، محتاجين إنه إحنا نخدهم نخليهم يكونوا جزء بتاع المجتمع بتاعنا. حكومات بتاعنا ما بدهم فرص، ولا حتى في المدارس ما بدهم فرص، لكن لو لاحظتوا في أولمبيات الخاصة للناس بتاع الحالات الخاصة هو سبيشال أولمبيكس. كويس؟ عندنا ولد اسمه دين، أنا متخيلاه هو قاعد يجي في السودان هنا وكون تيم بتاع الباسكت وبيقعد في ويل شير في كرسي بيلعب باسكت، بيلعب في أوروبا وبيلعب في أمريكا. فده الولدين بتاعنا صح؟ لأنه الولدين هسه عمل حاجة كبيرة. نفس الحاجة أنت ممكن تكون معور وتشغل مخك ولسه تعمل. الرئيس بتاع الجيش الأحمر هو الجيش الأحمر دين قاعد في كرسي، لكن لما يتكلم اللي بيطلع من خشمه حاجة قوية صح؟ عشان كده احنا نقوم ما نجحل الناس اللي عندهم تعويض، نحترم اي زول المعوق. لما تشوفون في الشارع في مرتين انا بتذكر انا شفت بنت صغيره ماشيه في الشارع بعجله صغير زي بتاعت الجنة. يا جماعه لو احنا كلنا هنا في الاوضه ده ادينا 5000 احنا ممكن نشتري لها عجله احسن من بتاع البلاستيك اللي هي ماشيه بيه صح؟ لما انت ولا انا اشوف زول معوق في الشارع لو دار يقطع الشارع، طبعا في ناس اللي ما بيشوفوا بكون عندهم الوايت كين، امشي له واسال هل انت محتاج للمساعده؟ مساعده. الحرب خلت الناس يكون عندهم مشاكل ضغط وكده بيمشوا بعكاز. بلد بتاعنا is not handicap friendly. ما عندنا ممر الزول بيكون عنده عجله يمر فوقه ما في الا يترفع. الناس المتعوقين في حرب اللي كان حصل في بور خلوهم في بيوت لانه ما قدر يشيل. يا جماعه نشغل مخنا. زول المعوق ممكن يرفعوه بكرسي زي ده، احنا 4 ممكن نرفع زول معوق زي ده ونجري بيه بدل ما يخلوه لغايه ما يجي يقتله. كويس؟ فاحنا we have to educate the community. دور بتاعي ودور بتاعك انه انا اخلي الناس اللي في المجتمع يعرفوا المعوقين لناسهم. انت وانا ممكن نعمل شيء. فالليله زي ما احنا سمينا من اخونا نخليه يكون جزء بتاع المجتمع. لانه الليله انا ممكن الي الجنه انه تعويض يبقى اخليه ما يدرس؟ لا. العيال المعوقين في امريكا لنا فوق بخشوا مدارس بخشوا جامعات وبيشغلون وولمارت، يعني حتى في نسبه معينه الدكاكين الكبار ديل بيشغلوا الناس ديل. فاحنا حتى لو زول معوق وبيقدر يشتغل خليه يشتغل، خليه يكون مساعد، خليه يكون قاعد مثلا زي الباب ده ممكن يكون قاعد في كرسي ولما تجيب شنطه بتاع يمرروا ليه. انا خالي كسيح ما بيمشي، ايام بوليو بقى he became paralyzed، لكن ما في حاجه هو قاعد يعمل، هو مدير في مدرسه في بوليو. خالتي عميان كويس، كانت اول مره مسكت برجم so she lost one eye. لما بقت بنت فتاه وفي مراح كان بقى قد عين الثاني فبقت عميان. لكن خالتي دي بتدق الذره بتطحن
even more. What does it tell you? Any disabled person can do the same things if you train them. But if you don't train them, then they will not be able to do things that they can do to sustain their life and become independent. And with that, I thank you, my brother. Can we please give him a round of applause? And for the disabled people in our family. At this point, I am going to call our organizer for the South Sudanese Women Intellectual Group, Ms. Veronica Igali Manoja. She is going to tell us more about our next session, and she will also brief us about the work she does here. So please, can we welcome her, please? This is Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Akot. And I think we are all feeling bored, sleepy. Maybe somebody again should give us it's called what? An energizer. We need to wake up because I think what I'm going to present, you all need to understand and take it back home with you. I'll ask Joanne, please. Let's help us wake up a bit.
Okay, that's an ambush, but nevertheless. Now listen up. Listen up. I don't know how you're gonna do it, but Anita's prepared. Like these two, she faces her, and then like that, you face somebody. Face someone. Yeah. Yeah, so this is a mirror game. Okay? The mirror game. So somebody's gonna be the mirror and the other will be the reflection. Okay? So you're going to do what the mirror, what the person does. So when I do this to her, she'll have to do that. And then when you do that, like that. So you just have to be creative and see how you can
الله في كندا زي مراية لو هي رفع يدها هنا بابرا بتقوم ترفع يدها كويس لو أنا حكيت راسي بيدها هي بتقوم تحط راسها بيدها الثاني فتعمل نفس حاجة لكن بطريقة عكس كويس شكرا.
Is that okay? Oh, we do this.
Yes.
Another one?
Go ahead, go ahead.
Okay, so I am with her. You can just come up with something.
Okay, your partner.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. Please join. I'm glad we are now awake. And if you just joined us, you're welcome. Our volunteers can help you to get a notebook and the program. And please endeavor to register your name. Yes, like Dr. Akot already introduced me, my name is Veronica Igale Munoja, and I have been managing this project from the inception. And the way the project started, it started with online discussions. If you all know, this is how the SSWI works. We have online discussions on specific topics that affect our communities. So part of this project was discussing 3 topics, focusing on the youth, media, gender inequalities, women participation in peace building, gender-based violence, basically the issues that we face in our communities on a daily basis. So like I already said, the topics focused on GBV, the role of women in peace building and the use of social media by the youth to reinforce gender equality and foster a peaceful coexistence. Joanne already talked extensively about the use of social media how we can put social media to good use actually, to benefit from it as opposed to using it for otherwise. Now, the objective of these online discussions, the main objective was basically to create awareness and sensitize those who manage to listen to our discussions online about these topics, which we all know. We all experience them in our communities where we come from, whether you're from Upper Nile, whether you're from Greater Bahar al-Ghazal, whether you're from Greater Equatoria. These are things that influence all of us. So, GBV is an umbrella term for any harmful act that is perpetrated against a person's will. And that is based on socially ascribed gender differences between males and females. No, I was just explaining. Sorry about that. About GPP, we know that women at the grassroots are usually the first responders to issues of GPP or gender-based violence, and they're the ones who react or help communities when they experience GPP. And this is why we decided to invite women from civil societies and from the community level. I couldn't translate this. I think you'll summarize after. Yeah. Again, I strongly apologize. Sister Danal, people that we are unable to translate into Arabic or this information like it should be done. But I think we will maybe get a metabadin and we try to take you through the session so that you are at least able to go with something. So like I was saying, grassroots and women-led organizations are the first responders to victims of GBV. Therefore, they need support in order to be able to prevent, respond, and come up with solutions on how we can deal with GBV in our communities, our various communities. Aisha, next. So, out of our discussion, the first discussion we had was on gender-based violence and inequalities in our societies. So these are key highlights that came out of that discussion. And this discussion we had, it included former women who have been abused. It included, we had a lawyer on the panel who was able to share with us what happens in the event that you are abused, what is the process to follow, which court you go to. We also had a male champion who was able to share with us the male perspective of what the relationship with men and women should be from the male angle. So it was highlighted that gender-based violence affects all women and girls, men and boys from all lifestyles, and it is not a preserve for the poor or uneducated. Many of us in my neighborhood, once in a while I hear the man beating his wife. And those are not uneducated people. So we shouldn't think that this fighting or this man beating his wife is because he's uneducated. No. Gender-based violence happens whether you're educated or not, whether you're poor or rich. Actually, I think a lot of it happens in the rich homes. It's just that they keep quiet about it. They don't cry loud like, a poor woman would cry for help because they have a need to protect. And then cultural beliefs and mindset tend to reinforce inequality and violence against women and girls. This often affects the way women and girls respond to abuse. Tomorrow, if I report or go tell my neighbor, yesterday my husband beat me, this neighbor of mine will start what? Gossiping. Instead of maybe helping me on a way or how to go and get help, whether I should go to the police, whether I should go to the hospital and address my wounds, no. So most of the time, I just keep quiet because of the stigma I know. If the society knows that I was beaten last night or I was sexually abused, the fact that it's like I am being, some of them will even will accuse you for being a naughty wife or not respecting your husband. And these are mindsets that we need to change in our communities. There are many hurdles involved in the intervention process that discourages survivors from reporting, and this was clearly pointed out by the lawyers. And if there are some of you here who follow this process, once a victim reports that, or let me say a girl comes that she's about to be married off, what is involved, first of all, we don't even know where to go. Where can this little girl get help? Many times people come on the forum and ask, there is this girl, her uncle is about to marry her off and she has run away all the way from Gora and came to Juba. How can you help her? So we do not have a clear guideline to help women report to cases of abuse against them. GBV is being addressed as a women issue, often pitting the women against the men, hence making prevention strategies not to be effective. This one goes out to the civil society organizations in the house who are intervening in GBV issues. You cannot be talking to me as the victim and ignoring the abuser. Tomorrow, or the same, we're not supposed to call the victim. I'm a survivor. Survivor, yes, my apologies. So, you're supposed to talk to my husband or my partner or find a way such that at the end of the day, he knows that what I did was wrong and it will not happen again. And probably he will use it to talk to his neighbor not to do it. And that's why we had the training on the men champions. We have our presenter, our first presenter is a men champion. I believe they were taken through that to go out to their communities and influence other men. It is also important to acknowledge GBV as a gross human rights violation. GBV to us in South Sudan, I think we just think beating a woman is as easy as beating a wife. I mean beating a child, but it is not right. Even children are not supposed to be beaten. There is a punishment you should be giving a child based on their age, appropriate punishment. An adult like you, how do you just slap me? Is that normal? So if I slap you, what happens? Why don't you go to another man to slap you? So think of it in that term, that in the event that I'm slapping this woman, what if also that man slaps me? Don't I feel pain? So it is a women or a human rights issue that we need to look at GBV from that angle and not look at it just as a social issue in our communities. Sustainable peace is a prerequisite for institutions that uphold human rights and the rule of law to function properly. This comes with the fact that we do not have courts that function properly. When you run to the police station, probably there is no policeman there to take your case. Or if he's there, he doesn't have even transport to come to the location where the crime has taken place. You go to the hospital, the nurses are not there, or even, what do they call them? These people who counselors. I think we lack counselors in this country, and that's why majority of us are moving around as damaged people. Because we go through some traumatic situations, but there is nobody who brings us back to our senses. Key recommendations that came out of the discussion on inequality and GBV was that to enact laws to regulate marriage, including regulation of dowry, bride price, property inheritance, child custody, explicit definition of child marriage, among others. If we look at the issue of child custody, some time back we had a participant or a member of our forum who reported an issue she was having with her spouse, where the spouse took away her children from her. And our law is not strong on that. So this lady really went through hell to try to get her children back, or at least to be allowed access to communicate to her children. Encourage law enforcement to uphold the law, and GBV court should be supported by all entities. This one came as a result of the fact that in the situations where you are abused by members from the armed forces, these people do not respect the GBV court, unless maybe if they are taken to the military court, but they have no respect for this GBV court. And then need to create awareness in the community about laws by translating the laws into the various local languages and making it accessible to all. And I think this will resonate with what's happening to our sister currently. We are not able to translate to make her benefit actually from what we're doing here today. So this is something we need to also do with our laws. More training of case workers, lawyers, and prosecutors on how to handle GBV cases professionally. There are issues of bribes. You're bribed, and then in the end, you actually don't help the survivor up to the end to get justice. Need to set up a monitoring, reporting, and recording of cases to serve as precedent for future cases. I think we have a few lawyers here with us. Now, I'm a lawyer myself. I studied law. You know, I studied law in Uganda, and in Uganda, what you call precedent is basically previous cases that have been decided that you can use to prosecute other cases. In South Sudan, we don't have that. So in the event that, when we had this discussion, the judge who was on the panel said actually, when they are prosecuting cases of GBV, what they do is they determine on circumstances. Oh, what were you doing there? What was your discussion initially with this man? Did you agree to go with him? Which, when you're deciding cases of gender-based violence, that is not right. First of all, if you have access to me without my consent, that is already wrong. Whether I allowed to go with you to your house or not, I did not allow for you to have sexual intercourse with me. The judiciary needs to be supported to build a database of cases reported. I think this builds up on the previous point I explained, the fact that we do not have, first of all, cases to use as precedent, but also there is backlog of cases. There are so many cases being reported, but then we do not have judges or the proper judges, because not every judge can handle a GBV case. There are judges for GBV, there are judges for land issues, property rights. Yes, so that brings us to the end of the GBV discussion. The next discussion we had was on the role of South Sudanese women in the revitalized peace agreement. How South Sudanese women can contribute to peace building, basically beyond the 25% that we got as a result of this agreement. I usually don't like to use this 35% because I feel this 35% is limiting us women. Our aim is not to achieve 35%. Our aim is to be treated equally with the men. If I qualify, why shouldn't I be appointed? And then you have a man, because he's just a man but he's not qualified, he gets appointed. So there is need for the leadership to affirm the commitment to women's empowerment by building, again, I would not want to use that 35%, but I would like to say that we should be aiming towards competition. I'm speaking to the women in the house. Let's learn to compete to get positions as opposed to, crying around, oh, we need our 35%. No. What we need is we need to be represented. And equal representation is what we want, not quotas. Key highlights from this discussion: peace building to women is beyond, just like I was saying, is beyond allocation of quotas and silencing of guns. Peace building is making use of the expertise that women possess from the grassroots to the national level. Today we had presentation from women from the grassroots, and we have all seen what vast knowledge they have about civil society work from the areas where they come from. Peace cannot be achieved when the majority, who are women, are excluded from the process of negotiation and mediation. If we revisit how the peace agreement was signed, I think women had to really fight to be included, and at the end, I think they allowed one woman to sit on a table of, 20 men, which shouldn't be the case. If we have women here who can be able to attend this round table on peace discussions, why shouldn't we include more women? Because usually women go there and represent the interests of all. They are not going there to represent the interests of women.
Interest of the party.
Sorry?
Yes,
Yes, that is the wrong thing they do. They are not supposed to go and represent their parties. They are supposed to go and represent the whole country. They are supposed to represent women, children, youth, and everybody. Educated women in power should become proactive by offering policy options for strengthening women movements. I think we are spending a lot of focus on 35%. This point is saying, let's take up the initiative to come up with policies that will be able to support our movement as women and not as individuals. The peace agreement, which allocated 35% to women, did not guarantee the effective participation of women in peace building and did not create a conducive environment for women to contribute to peace building as well. Real peace should be people-centered and not just power sharing and allocating positions and quotas. And this is specific to the peace agreement that was signed in 2018. When you analyze it, that is what actually happened. It wasn't a peace agreement. It was a power sharing agreement. Women must sit down together and form a strong pact based on mutual agreement where they will speak with one voice so they can be heard. I already mentioned that when we go to the table, we negotiate for women and not for our own parties or individual interests. When you are invited to that UN group, go there and speak for all women in South Sudan. Do not go and speak for your organization alone. Women should continue advocating for their rights through civic engagement, e.g., for example, social media. The South Sudanese Women Intellectuals Forum can become a bridge for the advancement of women by educating the public and by raising issues affecting women and communicating to those in power to draw up strategies to empower more women. Again, South Sudanese Women Intellectuals Forum is here to act as a bridge between us and our leaders. They are able to, because it is made up of a group of individual intellectual women who are policymakers, who are lawyers, who are doctors, who are accountants. So in the event that we have an issue, through them, we are able to pass our message to those leaders above us. There is need to empower women. Women should start preparing for their full participation in the election process, discussing constitutional making process and political party processes. At the moment, are we all aware that there is a constitutional making process happening? Have you ever been consulted on the making of the constitution? People are shaking their heads. So as women, this is the fight we need to pick up at the moment. This constitution must come out when it is when it has taken into account the issues surrounding gender inequality. Also, we know that after 2 years, after 1 year, the period that has been extended, we are having elections. As women, what are we doing? Are we waiting for that time before we run down to our villages asking for votes? These are the kind of things we need to start focusing on to prepare our women from the grassroots, so that when the time for voting comes, and I as a candidate go to my village in Rajaf, the women already know me and they know what Igale is capable of, instead of waiting for election time to bribe them to vote for you. So in the event that you go back to your village, if no woman has come to your village to start talking to you or helping you with what should be happening in your county, please do not vote for them when they come with little mind to bribe you. I am not here. I'm just telling you the truth. This is the truth. We have to know it. We have to prepare ourselves for it. There is need to empower women to disseminate the peace agenda to the grassroots by encouraging them to speak up. And this is the reason why we made sure we had a representative from each state to come here. After this, we are going to have group discussions. And through these group discussions, please raise your issues. Because if you do not raise these issues during these group discussions, we will not know. Women should organize more peace building workshops and seminars. Women should independently set their own agenda of what they intend to achieve, as opposed to waiting for the men to drag us. The men are doing this, they will give you 35%. No. As women, we should also come up with what we want. What is it that we want to achieve? Not only for us as women, but also for the whole country. We have to set the agenda right. Women must select carefully people who can represent them by articulating the issues they face. This will come during election time, like I already mentioned. Make sure it is that consistent person who has been coming, asking you what your problems are, and taking them forefront and helping you to solve them. These are the women you should vote for when election comes. Women should avoid divisions and building bridges between those in rural areas and low-income I've talked too much. And low-income backgrounds to know what the real issues are. Women in parliament should speak up on behalf of other women and issues affecting women in general. It's unfortunate we do not have women parliamentarians here, but they are busy. I don't know doing what in parliament. I don't want to say they are sleeping. But most of the times we do not air our parliamentarian sessions here. But in East Africa, I see when they air those things on TV, you see them properly sleeping. So these are the people we do not want. We want people who will go and air our issues out in parliament, from the community, the grassroots, to the national level. Women should remain engaged in public and private spheres. A woman's place is not only I would call this a public gathering. So some of us, our married women, I see in most of when there are these family functions, we are kept at the back. The men decide on what you going to cook for the function. Is that right? So when there is that sitting, they should call 3 women, 3 men, decide on the budget. Maybe they remove the money, but even we contribute for that money. A book goes around, every woman removes money. And at the end, we'll have a fruitful function. But the fact that the men are the ones who decide what should be cooked, that one should end. I am not inciting, but that is the truth. Lastly, I will not dwell so much on this one because Joanne spoke about it. The use of social media by the youth to reinforce gender equality and promote a peaceful coexistence. Now, we have all known how the past roughly, I should say 10 years, how the media, what you call social media, most of us are familiar with Facebook, how it can be very useful, but it can also be very damaging because there are so many of us who are using it for the wrong reasons, but we can also use it for the right reasons. The key highlights that came out from this discussion is the fact that, like I said, social media can be misleading if not used with caution. However, it is very vital and is efficient, and it is the quickest way to share and spread information. For example, a forum like ours, which is online, most of our discussions are done online. In the event that we are planning a discussion on maybe event champions, we share, I share, she shares, and this is how the word spreads, and this is how we get a lot of people to follow the discussion. Before sharing information on social media, Joanne talked about this, fact-checking, research and verification of information must be done. I remember during the 2013 and 2016 conflict, the gossip about what was happening within was coming from America, Australia, and I'm asking them, people are sharing funny things. Like, we have heard this is happening in Juba. I just tell them, you know what, I don't know where you're getting that from, but I am in Juba currently and this is not happening. So this is about fact checking. Before you just share things just like that, make sure it is the correct information, because you do not know how the next person will use that information. Social media has created many opportunities for young people, especially in terms of advocacy, awareness raising, networking, marketing. I personally use social media to market some stuff that I sell. Access to jobs. Every night I go to all these websites looking for jobs. Counseling, raising alerts about causes and other opportunities. I remember when, about a month ago, a journalist was arrested. What happened? We were all over social media, hashtag, release, what was her name? You've forgotten her? Huh? Yes, release Ding Magot, release Ding Magot. And you know, because it is a good cause, we just copy paste, release, and eventually she was released. Also, when we were having the issue with the dredging of the rivers upstream, yes, that issue went around, and because of the kind of uprising or the kind of voices that came out on social media, I believe that was why the government decided to put it on hold and say we are first going to do research before going forward with this project. It also provides freedom of speech, equal opportunities, for example, education. If you now, there are so many institutions advertising if you need admission to the universities, scholarship opportunities, you can learn on them online, capacity building opportunities, and fostering peaceful coexistence through awareness. It has awakened the government to pay close attention to crucial issues, especially affecting the youth. I like the way the youth are picking up certain issues that are affecting them, and they just put it on social media, and it has given the government that awakening eye that this group, if we do not pay attention to them, you know, they might take over very soon. It has been very useful. No, it has been used by a minority section of the youth to create impact in their communities. Individual communities, yes, but at the national level, I see that when there is an issue that has been shared on social media that's affecting all the youth, I've often seen a group of the youth coming together to make use of that. It has been very useful during the outbreak of the pandemic. It did to facilitate business, like I said. I think I also became very active in business when COVID came, because we were under lockdown and you're having stock and you don't even know how, to sell. So what you do is you post your stuff on Facebook, somebody picks and says, send for me this, you just get the border person or the motorcycle guy, he delivers it to the venue. So to some extent, or to many people who actually know how to maneuver around social media, it's a very good place to market your business. Youth have the collective power to bring change if they use technology the right way. Key recommendations: need for legislation to regulate cyberspace to make use of social media safe for all. Like I had said in the beginning, that social media can be good if we know how to use it, but it can also be bad. There are people who come to social media to bully, to body shame, I don't know, to name call, to spread hate speech. So we need social media to be regulated, or the cyberspace to be regulated. Social media for positive, use social media for positive youth agenda that will create a society that is respectful of gender, equality, and human rights. Another thing I didn't mention when I was mentioning those highlights is the fact that in social media, we are all equal. And this is where we are able to come out as, I have my right as a woman, you have your right as a man. I'm able to post, you're able to post. Nobody is restricted that, no, because you're a girl, you cannot post. Because you're not educated, you cannot post. As long as you have a phone and you have these social media applications in your phone, you're free to post, whether you're a man or a woman. Create and raise awareness about Cybercrime Provisional Order 2021 to young people to avoid falling victims to crimes that they are not aware of. This is a provisional order, I think, that has been released by the government. I did not know about this provisional order before one of the participants raised it up during this discussion. So there are people who are posting a lot of hate speech. I remember the week we had this discussion, there was somebody who posted something which was typical hate speech. We even shared it on the forum. But such a person is not aware that because of this order, he can get in trouble. He can be arrested for spreading wrong information and inciting violence. The youth need to start balancing their lifestyle out of social media. This one is a very big issue. It's not only to youth. The first thing I do when I wake up in the morning, my husband is next to me, but my phone becomes my first. This is, social media is taking us out of our, instead of reading a book, you go to Facebook, you just want highlights. You do not want to read actually the actual real book. And I was also hit hard during COVID. Not during COVID, during the Ugandan election. We had no internet for 3 days. What do? These are times when you start reasoning, you mean all my life has been surrounded, focusing on social media, YouTube and all that. So we need to go back to reading books, learning history. I think we are still very slow on actually uploading our own history as South Sudanese online. So we lag behind. For those of us who do not know so much about our country, there is so much to know. If somebody could actually take up that initiative, do research and upload that, since now the movement is about social media. We are reading less. Lastly, journalists should write more stories on the impact of social media as a way to sensitize the youth. Joanne, you have heard us. I think today what we have done here might not be enough sensitization on what actually can go wrong with the media. So journalists need to come out clearly. The use of social media has become so popular that it is being misused. But you're not telling us how wrong it is, what we are doing. So I believe that is the role of the media. I'm not pinpointing on you, but because you're the journalist in the house, you should take that up as a recommendation. I believe I've come to the end of my presentation. Sorry for talking too much, but you need to go away here with clear messages in your head. That's why we invited you here. That we go away, even if it is one, out of all this discussion, out of all this shouting I've done, I believe somebody got one thing that will go home with. Thank you, my voice is
Thank you very much, Ms. Veronica. That was a great presentation. أنا بشكر الأخت فيرونيكا لأنه اتكلمت في 3 حاجات اللي هو gender based violence، اتكلمت عن جبت الورقة صح صحيح؟ gender based violence.
Why did I write my paper now? I'm getting confused.
غير اللي اخذتها اوراقي، لكن انا بعرف انه كانت اتكلمت عن العنف القائم ضد النوع كويس. ممكن يكون ولد، ممكن يكون بنت، ممكن يكون اي زول، ما ضروري مرة بس. احنا النساء ما بنتكلم كثير لانه العادات والتقاليد بتاعتنا كلها دي مرة ساكت. خليه يطلقوه، خليه يعملوه، خليه يغتصبوه، خليه يرفعوه. مثلا عندنا في الدنكا بيرفعوا البنات كويس بقوه، كانت دايره ولا ما دايره المهم بيرفعوها، لكن in the legal sense that is considered as rape كويس. فده ما حاجه صح. في مشاكل في الاتحاد بتاع الانسان، وبرضه الاساكر ما قاعدين يساعدوا لانه الجزء الاجتماعي ده ما قاعد يساعد. البوليس ده بمشي بلقو عنده حاجات عادات وتقاليد في راسه، فبقوم بقول لك ما دي مرة عشان اخدمه معلوم كويس. ده واحد. نمرة 2 لما الناس يصلوا المستشفى ممكن يجيبوا مرة ده يختصروا. ناس مستشفى بقول احنا ما نقدر نعمل حاجة الا تجيبوا من 8. هي وضحت حاجة مهمة جدا. لما الناس يرجعوا لمنطقة البوليس، لأنه المستشفى ما فيه بوليس يا إخوان. في الدول المتقدمة بوليس فيه. الدكتور بيقدر يشوف المريض يكتب التقارير في نفس المحل. كده شو الزول حيطلع من مستشفى جوبا ولا مستشفى بوديلا حيمشي للنقطة بتاع البوليس. يمشي النقطة بتاع البوليس احتمال ما يلقى البوليس قاعد كويس. يلا بعد ده حيحصل شنو؟ الناس حينتظروا. لو الزول ده عنده نزيف، عنده كسر، عنده شنو؟ مرض بتاعه بيزيد. كويس. فعشان كده هي كانت بتنصح انه المفروض في حاجات المفروض يتغير. التوعية مهم في المجتمع. عرس بتاع بنات لما بيكونوا صغار، القروش اللي بيسالوه ولا البقره اللي بيسالوه في العرس، عراس بقت حاجه بطال جدا. يبقى انا ذكرت لك ولا انا جيت العرس بتاع اخوي احنا دفعنا 96 ولما انا قلت انا داير اتكلم قام قال لي ما بتقدر تتكلم. وانا كنت هتكلم ضد الطريقه اللي قاعدين يعملوها الحاجات، لانه مره ما بس انه يدفعوا بقر، لانه لما يدفعوا بقر ولا لما يدفعوا مال الكثير بيعتبروا انه بقى ملكيه. وانا شفته برا ناس بيقولوا لخواجات انا دفعت فوق بقر، خواجه ده بيقول ده هناك، لكن هنا مرة ده has a right. You cannot treat it like a property. كويس؟ مهم برضه في الورثة. أنا بتذكر قبل فترة زوجي محامي، فلما قاعدين نتكلم في كلام ورثة قال أخوانك بس ناس كويسين، لكن أصلا في القانون بتاعنا بتاع جنوب السودان مرة ما عنده حق في الورثة. الحاجات دي المفروض تتغير. كويس؟ والقانون المفروض يترجموه في اللغة الناس ممكن يفهموا عشان الزول ذاته يعرف حق بتاعه شنو. برضه يكون في تدريب لمحامين للبواليس وحتى للناس بتاع السايكولوجي اللي بيساعدوا في الناس، لانه يا جماعه احنا مجتمع خشينا في صدمه كثير مع الحروبات. انا لاحظت حاجه دي حتى في اولاد الصغار اللي انا كنت قاعده انظف قريب دايرين يدقوني، انا جاي اساعد انت داير تدقني كمان. لكن ليه؟ لما تنظر للخلفيه بتاعت الجنة ده
جنى خشت في صومال كثير، الحروب اتأثرت فيها. لو انتوا لاحظتوا هسه زول بكون ماشي في الشارع اي زول داير يشاكل. ليه؟ لانه ده صدمه نحن مرينا بها. عشان كده مهم انه يكون في توعيه. هي اتكلمت بالجزء بتاع 25%. مهم انه يعودوا الناس ويعلموا الناس ويوروا الناس حاجات كثير. اتكلمت في الجزء بتاع التواصل الاجتماعي، انا ما حخش فوق لان اختي جوانا اتكلمت فوقه كثير، لكن احنا نقوم نستخدمه بطريقه كويسه. اللي انا بطلب منكم انه يا جماعه لما يكون في حاجه شين كويس، كلام الشين قاعدين يقولوه ضد زول تاني، اقفل ما تسمعوا، لانه كل ما الناس قاعدين يعاينوا في حاجه الشين ده الفيوز بتكون كثير. انا بتذكر واحده جات فتحت فيديو وقاعده تشتم within 15 دقيقه 1000 نفر. معقول احنا كشعب بنفضل حاجه اللي فيه كلام فارغ، ولا نجي لبرنامج بتاع ساوث سودانيز ومن انتلكتشوال جروب الجاي يعلمنا مثلا، الجاي يعمل لنا توعيه، مش ده حاجه المفروض نستفيد منه؟ لا، احنا بنسمع في كلام الفارغ. نفس حاجه في كلاب هاوس، لما يكون حاجه الناس بتستفيد منه ما في ناس، لما يكون كلام فارغ شتايم بتلقى المحل فيه almost 500 نفر. كويس؟ يبقى التغيير ده بيجي من وين؟ بيجي مننا، بيجي مننا. انا بتاسف لانه الزمن بتاعنا تقريبا المفروض يكون ساعه واحد. لو في اي زول عنده سكري هنا انا بتاسف جدا، بكره كلمني عشان احنا بناخد سناك ورا هناك للناس بتاع السكري يقدروا ياكلوا حاجه، لانه ما بيقدروا يستحملوا الجو. صح عندنا دكاتره لكن احنا ما دايرين نعمل الاسعافات الاوليه، احنا بنديكم الاسعاف الاول اللي هو الاكل. كويس؟ فشكرا لكم. في ناس رسلوا لي الاوراق، احنا هنعمل جروبات وهنتكلم، في اوراق صغيره هنا برضه وهنتكلم فوقه. محل الغداء فيرونيكا you can tell us هيكون وين or Caesar